भाई रहने दो, मत तोड़ो यार।
सब भागे, पुलिस वाले भाग गए।
ये सीपी में देख सकते हो आप लोग किस तरीके से किया जा रहा है। पूरी पब्लिक जो है वो बहुत ज़्यादा गुस्से में।
भाई मैं हूँ अभी सीपी में और यहाँ पे देख सकते हो पब्लिक लोग ने पुलिस वाले को मार मार के भगा दिया यहाँ से, मार मार के। गाइस
ये देखो भाई, ये देखो पूरा रोड जाम कर दिया गया बैरिकेड से। यहाँ पे पूरा बैरिकेड से घेरे हुआ था। एंड अभी यहाँ पे सब देख सकते हो कैसे किस तरीके से जाम कर रहे हैं। पूरा गेट बैरिकेड हटा रहे हैं यहाँ से। ओए नहीं हो, रहने दे। भाई रहने दो, मत तोड़ो यार।
बहुत ज़्यादा साइड में आके वीडियो बना रहा हूँ, ध्यान से सुनना जो मेरा पर्सनल ऑब्जर्वेशन है इस प्रोटेस्ट को लेके। क्योंकि साइड में आके इसलिए बना रहा हूँ कि कुछ नहीं पता कौन कहाँ से आ जाए और किस बात का बुरा मान जाए, फ़ोन छीन ले या मारापेटी करने लग जाए। क्योंकि ये प्रोटेस्ट जो है ना भाई, वो अपने असली आक्रामक रूप में आ चुका है। और एक सीधा सवाल जो मैं सीधा अभिजीत दिप्के से पूछना चाह रहा हूँ कि इस पूरे प्रोटेस्ट में कहाँ है भाई तुम? अगर तू लीडर है तो तेरा काम है कि लोगों में जो आक्रोश, जो आक्रमण भरा हुआ है तो उनको शांत करवाए। भाई अगर यहाँ पे 100% लोग हैं ना, तो उसमें से बस 10 से 20% ऐसे लोग हैं जो शांतिपूर्वक प्रोटेस्ट करना चाह रहे हैं। बाकी आधे से ज़्यादा जितने भी आ रखे हैं ना, सारे गुंडे दंगाई टाइप के लोग आ रखे हैं जिनमें आक्रोश और आक्रमण पूरा भरा हुआ है। वो कह रहे हैं पुलिस को मार देंगे, ये कर देंगे, वो कर देंगे। भाई उन्होंने पहला बैरिकेड तोड़ा, पुलिस ने कुछ नहीं बोला। दूसरा तोड़ा, तीसरा तोड़ा, जब चौथा भी तोड़ दिया ना, जब लोग अपना गुस्सा दिखाने लग गए, तब भाई पुलिस की ओर से भी हमला आया। और जब पुलिस की ओर से हमला आया तो बहुत ज़्यादा।
Rahul Gandhi says he's supporting the violence by the CJP and he says I'm fighting for students. I don't want paper leaks. If there are paper leaks, then the government should come down and the CJP should be allowed to do whatever the hell it wants to do. And the CJP is a murderous mob of lynchers. So I don't intend to embarrass the Congress. They should be embarrassed because for the last decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, 4 decades, they are the master chefs of paper leaks. Is Rahul Gandhi happy because there's anarchy? Does he think this anarchy will make him the Prime Minister? No, Rahul Gandhi, no. And if deep state Dipke, if coward Dipke has any guts or morality, let him stand on stage and ask all the Congress leaders, National Conference leaders, left leaders, Trinamool leaders, all of them to quit for the paper leaks that have happened under their watch. Can he do that? I don't think he can, but it's time to corner them with facts.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ,
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है, सबका राजा प्योर मसाला।
यानी इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील टीएमटी से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील टीएमटी बार एकदम सॉलिड।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच, लस्सी और छाछ।
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट, ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े। चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
The violent protest stones were there. They had come with reportedly, what I'm hearing from certain sections of the reporters is that there was a truck laden with stones. Something similar that you do in Kashmir. When Kashmir was prior to the application of Article 370, a whole of mess in for these kind of activities. That's exactly the playbook. On July 17th, interestingly, the US Embassy put out an advisory talking about demonstration which was going to be happening on July 20th and July 21st. It's very important you understand this aspect of it, because time and again I have been informing with the Republic TV the hand of the US deep state in activities in India, whether it was Manipur, whether it is the northeastern region in totality, in certain parts in Punjab, certain aspects of anarchy that might spring out in some southern states. The US deep state is very, very active at this point of time in India. Now, why the letter of the US Embassy is very interesting, because it's very unusual that the US Embassy would have such details and be well informed that it put it on that particular letter. They knew about the location, they knew about the expected mobilization much before the event. So this letter came out on 17th. The protest happened on the 20th and the 21st. They even knew that there was the 250 farmer organizations going to come out and protest on 21st, and they were also going to march to Parliament. They also knew the locations where the American citizens should not visit, and therefore this advisory was given to them to avoid the areas, which was Jantar Mantar towards the Parliament area, to avoid all these areas. Now, you could call it coincidence. In spycraft and in statecraft, there is no coincidence. There is always a plan behind a plan. The US deep state has been aggressively working in India to replicate what it's done in Bangladesh, to replicate what it's done in Nepal, to replicate what it's done in Sri Lanka some years back, to replicate what it's doing in most Asian and African countries, which is wanting to have control. Now, yes, you could argue and say that the students have a point to protest, and rightfully so. They can protest because that's what the law allows you to do. But during the course of the protest, as you saw yesterday, suddenly there were stones available, and these protesters started throwing stones at the police personnel that were around. Many of them were injured. That kind of stone pelting is something that we have seen militants do, and even people supporting militants in Kashmir. The stone pelting incidents were seen during the Delhi riots, where an IB officer was a victim of brutality.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Very good afternoon, viewers. You're watching Republic. I'm Jantar Mantar. And in the escalating CJP protests and in Jantar Mantar, the question continues to be raised is by Republic if these protesters have been hijacked. And the main question is, are these CJP protesters, are they really students? They have been raising questions on the NEET paper exam leak, and also at the same time attempting to lynch police. They are carrying weapons. They are weaponizing these protests. They are also attempting to hurl abuses at the security forces. They are attempting to raise various other issues on the NEET paper issue. The question remains, it is out in the open. They are completely hijacking the protest, and the question still remains if these protesters are really NEET exam students. We're getting you all of this on Republic, but first take a look at the headlines. Sonam Wangchuk softens his position, strikes conciliatory note. From demanding resignation, he now asks government to reconsider resignation for Pradhan. Dipke and CJP take a pro-Congress hardline even as Wangchuk strikes a conciliatory note on resignation. From lynching to throwing beer bottles and pelting stones, are they really students who have gathered in Jantar Mantar, or are they hired goons? Questions over foreigners spotted at the CJP protest. What exactly are foreigners doing in the CJP protest? Prime Minister issues directions for fast-track courts to be set up. Directions issued to states and High Court to give speedy justice on the paper leaks. Delhi police given NSA powers by the centre to make detentions if necessary for anywhere between 12 days and 12 months. Viewers, take a look at some of these visuals. The real face of the CJP is unmasked. Protesters attacking cops with sticks and bricks. As we see this brazen hooliganism unfolding, the most important question remains, is the protest really about need anymore? And are these protesters really students? And even we will take these visuals. And Republic continues to question as we continue to unmask the real plot of the CJP. As the CJP goons and lumpens are brutally attacking security forces, these visuals on your screens, it shows how the CJP goons assaulting the forces on the ground. They are attempting to lynch security personnel. They are hurling abuses at the security forces. They are carrying swords, long lathis, and also throwing several rocks and bricks and vandalizing public property. Now, details accessed by Republic also show how these protesters planned and coordinated attacks on the police. In fact, internet-free apps that run using Bluetooth were used to coordinate attacks. We have exclusive details on how this whole mechanism functioned. Listen to this in-depth report by Republic Executive Editor Niranjan Narayan-Swamy.
Now, in this small radius where these thousands of CJP protesters or backers have gathered, internet has been snapped. But still they are managing to gather in large numbers. Now, how are they managing to do that? Now, Republic TV has accessed a creative. Now, this is a snapshot, basically a snapshot of a map which has been snipped out and circled and creative made on where to reach, security level at each of these locations. And people have been asked to come to those locations to ensure that they gather. Now, what this shows is that despite the internet being snapped, such creatives are being used via SMS, are being shared by other apps using Bluetooth technology, simple apps that can just help you stay connected via Bluetooth because they're in close proximity, and these apps are being used by those gathering at Jantar Mantar and the surrounding areas.
And now moving on now to Sonam Wangchuk, who has seemingly softened his stance from assertively demanding Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation to now writing a letter which says his resignation should be considered. This is a big shift coming from him. Now, from demanding resignation, he now asks the government to consider resignation for Dharmendra Pradhan. Sonam Wangchuk has softened his stance. Let's first listen in and then to his earlier statement as well.
यहाँ बहुत से लोग हमसे पूछते हैं क्या इस आंदोलन से जवाबदेही आएगी, क्या शिक्षा मंत्री इस्तीफ़ा देंगे आप लोगों के इस आंदोलन से? तो क्या इस आंदोलन से एक जवाबदेही तक नहीं लाई जाएगी? क्या एक इस्तीफ़ा नहीं होगी? 20 जुलाई को मेरे साथ संसद की तरफ मार्च कीजिएगा। मैं सरकार से विनती करता हूं कि वो और ऐसे ताकत बल का प्रयोग न करें बच्चों पर, और दूसरी बात उन पर आरोप और FIR जिससे कि उन्हें सताया जा सके जेल या पुलिस द्वारा, ये न करने की मुझे आश्वासन चाहिए। और वो आश्वासन अगर जल्द मिल जाए तो मैं आप सबके और जो नेतागण यहाँ पर आए उनकी बातों का इज्जत करते हुए अनशन आज ही तोड़ूंगा।
And we have also been showing you how there is an infighting, in fact, that has broken within the opposition as Aam Aadmi Party, the Congress, tried to stake claim over these protests. But viewers, how will they deny the paper leaks that has happened in their states when they were in power? In fact, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra even defended the then Rajasthan government, accepting that paper leaks has happened and it is difficult to manage. Listen to these previous statements of some of these Congress leaders.
A process divorced from the machinery of an elected government that seeks to undo the checks and balances created to protect the supremacy of Parliament of this House sets a dangerous precedent for our democracy. Today the proposed law is against corruption. Tomorrow the target may be something less universally heralded. It may attack the plurality of our society and our democracy.
आपको मालूम है पेपर लीक की बड़ी समस्या है। गहलोत जी भी जानते हैं कि राजस्थान में भी पेपर लीक हुए थे और ये एक बड़ी समस्या पूरे देश में है, सिर्फ एक प्रदेश की समस्या नहीं है। और बहुत इसको रुकवाने की कोशिश चाहे कितना भी की होगी गहलोत जी ने, लेकिन फिर भी बार-बार ये हो रहा था।
Only mean that whoever was able to undertake the longest hunger strike would win and get his demand accepted. It is neither democracy nor anything else. It is an utterly wrong path.
And moving on to the footage that came from the protest site where foreigners were seen along with the protesters. One American, one Russian were spotted at the violent protest filming and chanting anti-India slogans. The question is, what is the role of these foreigners at the CJP protest? Because they are certainly not NEET students. First, have a look at these videos that we have got for you. And in fact, the most important question that continues to linger is, what exactly are the foreigners doing at a protest in India? This comes at a backdrop of a shocking comment from the United States Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau, who said that the US does not want India to grow. Let's listen into his statement as well.
But again, India should understand that we're not going to make the same mistakes with India that we made with China 20 years ago in terms of saying, oh, you know, we're going to let you be able to develop all these markets, and then the next thing we know, you're beating us in a lot of commercial things. We're going to make sure that whatever we do, it's fair to our people, because ultimately we have to be accountable to our own people, just as the government of India has to be accountable to its people.
And in fact, viewers, with each new video, the brutality of the CJP goons become clear. The main motive was to unleash violence. Republic has completely unmasked the CJP. In fact, we spoke to an injured cop who exposed the real face of the CJP. In fact, he was stating on how he was attacked by a hostile mob while heading to work.
I was going for the night duty. I was deployed at Jantar Mantar. So there was so much mob gathered there. I could not park my car near the Jantar Mantar area. So I parked my vehicle near the Hanuman Mandir road, and I was going alone. I was in uniform, and when I reached the Sansad Bhavan area road, there was mob of maybe 2,000 or 3,000, 5,000 something people were gathered there, and suddenly there was 150 something persons, they started gathering around me and they attacked me with lathi, danda, stones, some sharp weapons. Something was there in their hand.
Exactly was the sharp weapons? Did you see, like, was it some kind of a knife or some kind of a, like,
like some blade or some small knife was there, I think. They were attacking me from the behind, and when I saw that there was something, some sharp weapon was there, and they were using the kadas also. They were wearing. They used like a knuckle punch type of thing. Na? They started using it to blow me.
So did you see, like, what kind of, because now that this protest was an attempt for a peaceful protest by students, did you see what kind of people were around? Because you're saying that a lot of them were in mask. So could you recognize them? Were they students exactly? What exactly?
Ma'am, I could not see any student there because we can see only the people around there. So many people, they were wearing mask and they had the handkerchief on their face to cover the face. All these people were so-called students, but they were not students. They were already in a pre-planned manner. They were attacking the police personnel and the uniform personnel who were going for duty or they are coming from the duty. So they started beating and brutally injuring the people, and that is the main reason I was attacked there.
This protest has started. I have been deployed at and around Jantar Mantar for my official duties. Last night also there was my shift at Jantar Mantar. While I was reporting for my duty at my spot, around 8:30 p.m. I started from Regal Building, Connaught Place, and moved on to Sansad Mart to reach at the spot. I was with my ACB probationer Rohit, my operator head constable Navneet, along with 4 to 5 Delhi police outside force. We were equipped with our anti-riot gear along with the lathis. While we were about to reach the spot, we realized that the 4 or 5 outside force that were walking ahead of us are being heckled by water bottles and the anti-social crowd that has gathered there. They were raising anti-police statements, anti-police slogans. They were trying to provoke them. Those 4 or 5 police personnel somehow dodged those bottles and those people and moved away from the spot to reach their duty points. While we were also going through that point, we realized that one of our staff had been overpowered by that unruly mob. He was bleeding from his head. All that blood was flowing over his face. With the intent to rescue him, I tried to intervene. During my intervention, we moved about 1 to 2 meters, but since that unruly mob was huge in number and they were highly provocative and highly motivated, they overpowered us.
And in fact, viewers, after the videos that we saw of the sheer hooliganism in the national capital, the big question that looms now is, are they really students? Are those who singled out and attempted to lynch police officials, abuse the Indian Army, really students? And there's more to it. Concerns have been put forth about the FCRA in relation to these protests. You see, the FCRA bill that aims to regulate foreign donations and fundings to NGOs, and it has faced a lot of opposition simply because it will put a full stop to the illegal foreign contribution. There's a high possibility that such elements who benefit from these fundings are fueling this anarchy in the name of protest. Senior advocate Mahesh Jetmalani also spoke exclusively to Republic over the FCRA details as well. Take a listen.
About 2 or 3 reasons. Firstly, there was just before the G7 summit, the summary from the Congressional Foreign Relations Committee made a statement that he was disappointed about India seeking to prohibit FCRA money for humanitarian relief and even for religious reasons. Right? So, and he said that should be taken up very seriously, the head of that committee. I think his name was James Risch, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember the senator or the congressman's name. Secondly, Ranjan, as you pointed out, there are a lot of NGOs over here. And the kind of mobilization that has taken place, the duration that has taken place, right? The duration of the entire exercise, that is, you're seeing now, but well nigh, it's probably one of the longest lasting sit-ins and demonstrations, right? That requires a lot of funding, right? So, and funding comes necessarily, and if the NGOs get their money mainly through FCRA sources, right? The Ford Foundation and what have you, right? Ford Foundation has often interfered and given money many times. And some of the characters over here, right, are also similar. For instance, Yogendra Yadav. And there is some extremely cataclysmic forecasts about what is going to happen, and said with a degree of vehemence and confidence by no less a person than Yogendra Yadav, who keeps appearing in all these. He's a Jhola Wala Krantikari. So, and he keeps appearing here, and he now says that pretty soon regime change is not going to take place at the ballot. Your vote is going to be irrelevant, right? The electoral system is dead wood. The way to regime change in future is not going to be through the ballot, but it's going to be through mass mobilization, through grassroots work. Yes, correct. But how do you effect that? You're going to have mobilization, you're going to have masses, you're going to sit in dharnas, demonstrations, right? You're going to have organized speakers speaking at shows like Jantar Mantar. But ultimately, what's the device? What is the methodology by which this change is going? Normally, it's the ballot box and the counting of votes. But he's spurning that. Now, what he is therefore advocating, according to me, is no more. First of all, it's an admission that they can't unseat the Modi government or the NDA electorally. It's a defeatist, desperate measure, a statement, right? It's very worrying. What Yogendra Yadav says is extremely worrying, right? Secondly, it seems to be now a call for anarchy. It seems to be this is sugar-coated anarchy. This so-called, mass mobilization, no ballot, no vote, nothing. So, for all these reasons, Ranjan, I feel that not only is what has happened, there's NGOs, the previous statements by congressmen interested in FCRA, right? NGOs thrive on FCRA money, and now we are talking about regime change in a place like India. This is not Nepal and Bangladesh, where it could have taken place. You are now talking about overthrow of a democratically, overwhelmingly elected democratic government. For all these reasons, and I think there's a lot to worry about in the coming days.
Yes.
Right? I look forward to the early implementation of the FCRA bill, because these funds must be, this kind of misuse of funding, right?
Yes.
We've been too porous for too long, right? Russia and China, but they are autocratic states, right? We are a democratic state. There are many fault lines in this country. Some opposition members, some opposition parties being fault lines who are porous. They take up causes which sometimes you wonder, are they taking up Indian national causes or are they taking up foreign causes, right?
Coming up after a very short break, DIPK and CJP take a pro-Congress hardline even as Wangchuk strikes a conciliatory note on resignation. Coming up next, stay tuned.
US President Donald Trump has signed a landmark nuclear deal with Saudi Arabia, which has raised many concerns, especially in Israel. Now, in the latest, he has issued a statement and mentioned about a condition. We'll tell you more about that at 6:30 p.m. on Republic Global with me, Rakshita Mishra.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मम्मा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा।
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates. IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट,
स्वाद बढ़ाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है, स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और परेशान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
प्यास बुझाए, ठंडक लाए, सबको भाए जीरा से, MTH का जलजीरा जीरा से।
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता, उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ,
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है, सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
और एक सीधा सवाल जो मैं सीधा अभिजीत दिप्के से पूछना चाह रहा हूँ कि इस पूरे प्रोटेस्ट में कहाँ है भाई तुम?
भाई रहने दो, मत तोड़ो यार।
सब भागे, पुलिस वाले भागे। भाई ये सिटी में देख सकते हो आप लोग किस तरीके से क्या हो रहा है। पूरी पब्लिक जो है वो बहुत ज्यादा गुस्से में। भाई मैं हूँ अभी सीपी में और यहाँ पे देख सकते हो पब्लिक लोग ने पुलिस वाले को मार मार के भगा दिया यहाँ से, मार मार के। गाइस ये देखो भाई, ये देखो पूरा रोड जाम कर दिया गया बैरिकेड से। यहाँ पे पूरा बैरिकेड से घेरे हुआ था एंड अभी यहाँ पे सब देख सकते हो कैसे किस तरीके से जाम कर रहे हैं। पूरा गेट बैरिकेड हटा रहे हैं यहाँ से।
ओए नहीं हो, रहने दे, रहने दे, रहने दे।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच, लस्सी और छाछ।
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े, चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है, अरे मेरे राजा।
सबका राजा आर प्योर।
और मसाला।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। अब बताओ स्वाद आया?
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील टीएमटी से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील टीएमटी बार एकदम सॉलिड।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी, एवरीडे।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट।
स्वाद बढ़ाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और फरसान। अरे चंकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
The violent protest stones were there. They had come with reportedly, what I'm hearing from certain sections of the reporters is that there was a truck laden with stones. Something similar that you do in Kashmir. When Kashmir was, prior to the application of Article 370, a whole of mess in for these kind of activities. That's exactly the playbook. On July 17th, interestingly, the US Embassy put out an advisory talking about demonstration which was going to be happening on July 20th and July 21st. It's very important you understand this aspect of it, because time and again I have been informing with the Republic TV the hand of the US deep state in activities in India, whether it was Manipur, whether it is the northeastern region in totality, in certain parts in Punjab, certain aspects of anarchy that might spring out in some southern states. The US deep state is very, very active at this point of time in India. Now, why the letter of the US Embassy is very interesting, because it's very unusual that the US Embassy would have such details and be well informed that it put it on that particular letter. They knew about the location, they knew about the expected mobilization much before the event. So this letter came out on 17th. The protest happened on the 20th and the 21st. They even knew that there was the 250 farmer organizations going to come out and protest on 21st, and they were also going to march to Parliament. They also knew the locations where the American citizens should not visit, and therefore this advisory was given to them to avoid the areas, which was Jantar Mantar towards the Parliament area, to avoid all these areas. Now, you could call it coincidence. In spycraft and in statecraft, there is no coincidence. There is always a plan behind a plan. The US deep state has been aggressive.
Very warm welcome. You're watching Republic Global. I'm Rakshita Mishra with you, viewers, and we get you the latest updates coming in from across the globe in this edition. And first up is the story coming in on the nuclear deal between Saudi Arabia and United States. Trump has also now issued a statement, kind of a clarification, put out a condition regarding that, and much more. We'll tell you about that. Also on the show, we bring you, is there a new front amidst the US-Iran war that's opening up? Is that the Red Sea front, as Yemen has right now claimed a new choke point and has claims to hit 2 Saudi oil tankers. Also, the latest coming in, viewers, Ukraine is now facing one of the most serious wartime political crisis. And also, we get you the latest coming in from the wildfires in Spain. Time for the headlines. The US and Saudi Arabia have signed a landmark civilian nuclear cooperation agreement amid rising tensions with Iran. The US-Iran conflict has entered its 13th day with fresh strikes, new threats and fears of wider regional escalation. Yemen's Houthi rebels have targeted Saudi oil tankers, raising fresh concerns over shipping through the Bab al-Mandeb Strait. President Zelensky has completed a major military leadership reshuffle amid protests and growing wartime pressure. Now, amid the continuing US strikes on Iran and renewed warnings from President Donald Trump to Tehran, Washington has announced a major nuclear agreement with Saudi Arabia. This is a civil nuclear deal. Two countries signing this landmark, it's called the landmark deal, a civilian nuclear cooperation deal aimed at expanding Saudi Arabia's nuclear energy program while opening a multi-billion-dollar market for American companies. Now, US officials are saying that this agreement strengthens non-proliferation standards even as the region remains on edge over the Iran conflict. Concerns have been raised in Israel as well. And in the latest, Donald Trump has also posted about this deal, saying that there is a condition as to this deal is concerned. Now, this is not for military purposes. Let me just read that out, what Trump has said. Trump has said that the civil nuclear deal, there will be no enrichment of the material. We'll tell you more about what he said. First, a quick story on that.
Even as the United States continue military operations against Iran, Washington has announced a landmark civilian nuclear agreement with Saudi Arabia. The two countries signed a 123 agreement for peaceful nuclear cooperation along with a bilateral safeguards agreement. The agreement lays the legal foundation for a decades-long strategic partnership in civilian nuclear energy. Officials say the deal will help Saudi Arabia diversify its energy mix while expanding cooperation in nuclear technology research and investment. Washington says the agreement will create high-paying jobs, strengthen US nuclear exports, and reinforce America's leadership in civil nuclear technology. The announcement comes as the US remains locked in conflict with Iran, where concerns over Tehran's nuclear program remain central to the confrontation and stalled diplomatic talks. The agreement will now be sent to the US Congress for review before it can formally enter into force. As tensions continue across West Asia, Washington is deepening strategic ties with Riyadh while simultaneously maintaining pressure on Iran over its nuclear ambitions.
All right, National Security and Foreign Policy Analyst Siddhant Kishore is joining us on the broadcast for more. Sir, how do you see with this nuclear deal that is coming in, sir? Now, also, let me just tell our viewers about this latest, that is what Mr. Kishore, just let me read out what Trump has said, because he has put in a condition of the Abraham Accords now. He says that totally subject to Saudi Arabia joining the very respected and successful Abraham Accords. Civil nuclear deal between US and Saudi pertains only to non-military use and totally subject to Saudi joining the very respected and successful Abraham Accords. US is not opposed to civil nuclear facilities. So this is what Trump has said. So how do you see this? Because there are many concerns being raised that this could also open up that new arms race, especially coming at a time when US has been talking about Iran to end its nuclear program.
That's right, Rakshita. Thank you so much for having me. Well, as you have mentioned, the statement of Donald Trump itself deviates from the fact that the agreements are stating. One of the most interesting things that is being highlighted in this agreement is about the enrichment of uranium on the ground in Saudi Arabia. So you must be aware that for many, many years, Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince, was seeking to diversify the economy of Saudi Arabia and, decouple itself from too much of reliance on energy. So this agreement is no surprise, particularly given the time right now. I also look at from a view of posturing towards Iran. Clearly, the agreement with Iran hasn't worked out. Both countries have declared full-scale war on each other. So this is one way of putting a counterweight against Iran to allow Saudi to enrich uranium. Well, definitely, We don't know what the IAEA has been talking about it. IAEA is not in the conversation yet, so I don't know if there is any agreement on putting international inspection on these uranium facilities that will be enriching uranium in Saudi Arabia. So a lot of things. As per you mentioned about Abraham Accords, I think Donald Trump has been calling that for literally every single country in the world to come and join the Abraham Accords. I don't think Saudi Arabia is well positioned politically or even internally consensus on joining the Abraham Accords. It's too early for them to do that. We'll have to wait and watch how this unfolds.
With us, so we'll just break that out here, Mr. Kishore, what Donald Trump has said. Donald Trump has mentioned about the Abraham Accords, putting in a condition over there. Now, viewers, this is the latest statement coming in from the US president on Truth Social platform, saying that nuclear deal subject to conditions. Saudi will have to join the Abraham Accords. So, Mr. Kishore, this deal has been seen as a win for MBS. But what do you really feel that Saudi will be reacting? How will the Saudi be reacting to what Donald Trump has said right now?
That condition, but Trump always chickens out. So I would say confidently that there is no possibility of Saudi Arabia joining the Abraham Accords, especially given the current political situation. So I don't think he's very serious about this condition, and I'm 100% sure that MBS is not going to be accepting this condition. So if that deal is going to be in jeopardy, I don't think that will be due to the Abraham Accords. I think that is just for the optics that he's putting the Abraham Accord condition, but I can tell you for sure, I don't see Saudi Arabia joining the Abraham Accords anytime soon.
And thanks, Mr. Siddharth Kishore, for joining us with your assessment.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Of this development coming in now, right? We shift our focus to the other story that we're tracking for you. Well, shifting our focus back to the war in West Asia, the US-Iran conflict entering its day 13 since the collapse of the ceasefire, and Washington has carried out 12th consecutive night of strikes targeting Iranian military infrastructure, even as President Donald Trump issued his strongest warning yet, threatening to bomb bridges and power plants inside Iran for every attack on shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. Tehran has vowed an eye-for-an-eye response, with fresh strikes mounting, civilian casualties and oil prices surging. Fears of a wider regional conflict continue to grow.
Even as the United States continue military operations against Iran, Washington has announced a landmark civilian nuclear agreement with Saudi Arabia. The two countries signed a 123 agreement for peaceful nuclear cooperation along with a bilateral safeguards agreement. The agreement lays the legal foundation for a decades-long strategic partnership in civilian nuclear energy. Officials say the deal will help Saudi Arabia diversify its energy mix while expanding cooperation in nuclear technology, research and investment. Washington says the agreement will create high-paying jobs, strengthen US nuclear exports, and reinforce America's leadership in civil nuclear technology. The announcement comes as the US remains locked in conflict with Iran, where concerns over Tehran's nuclear program remain central to the confrontation and stalled diplomatic talks. The agreement will now be sent to the US Congress for review.
The conflict in West Asia, viewers, is now threatening one of the world's busiest maritime trade routes. Yemen's Houthi rebels claim they have struck two Saudi oil tankers near the Bab al-Mandeb Strait, warning of more attacks as they intensify what they call a blockade against Saudi-linked shipping, threatening a new checkpoint in the West Asia war. Here's more on the story.
The Houthis have claimed responsibility for a major attack on maritime shipping in the Red Sea. According to group's military spokesperson, Houthi forces targeted two Saudi oil tankers using ballistic missiles, cruise missiles and drones. The group claims both vessels were hit, triggering major fires on board.
نفذت القوات المسلحة اليمنية عملية عسكرية نوعية استهدفت سفينتين نفطيتين سعوديتين خالفت قرار الحظر الصادر عن القوات المسلحة في البحر الأحمر، إحداهما تحمل اسم إنسيليا والأخرى ليلى، وذلك بعدد من الصواريخ البالستية والمجنحة والطائرات المسيرة.
The Houthis also claimed that nearly 10 ships were forced to turn back after the attacks, and their warning to the commercial shipping. The group says that the targeted vessels violated what it calls its blockade on Saudi-linked shipping through Bab el-Mandeb Strait.
القوات المسلحة اليمنية ستواصل عملياتها البحرية ضد العدو السعودي، وإنها مستمرة في فرض معادلة الحصار بالحصار، وتؤكد للعدو السعودي أن أي حماقة أو عدوان يستهدف به بلدنا.
The Bab el-Mandeb Strait connects the Red Sea with the Gulf of Aden and serves as a vital gateway for global commerce. Around 12% of global trade and nearly 1/4 of world's container traffic passes through this narrow waterway on the route between Europe and Asia via the Suez Canal. The Houthis say that the blockade is the response to Saudi's restrictions on Yemen and recent strike on Sana's international airport. Even if actual attacks remain limited, the threat alone could force shipping companies to divert vessels, increase insurance costs, and further disrupt global trade through one of the world's most important sea lanes.
Now, Ukraine has formally completed its biggest military leadership reshuffle since the war with Russia began. Now, President Zelensky has finalized key appointments at the top of the armed forces, saying that new leadership is battle-tested and trusted by the troops. The changes come after days of protests, political unrest and growing criticism over Ukraine's military command. Here's more.
Ukraine has officially completed its biggest military leadership shake-up since the war with Russia began. President Volodymyr Zelensky has formally confirmed that Ukraine's new commander-in-chief has taken charge. Zelensky also named the new chief of the general staff, describing the new leadership as experienced and trusted by troops.
Сьогодні новий головнокомандувач Збройних сил України Михайло Драпатий приступив до виконання обов'язків. Вже зміни відбулись. Разом з Михайлом та Євгенієм Хмарою визначили, що новим начальником Генерального штабу Збройних сил України стане Ігор Скибюк. Рішення теж вже є. Хлопці бойові, досвідчені. Війська їх знають. Драпатого, Хмару, Скибюка.
The appointments come after days of protests and criticism over the government's military reshuffle and leadership decisions. The new commander-in-chief replaces Syrsky, whose command style had drawn criticism, with many calling for a younger leadership to guide the war effort. Widely seen as a voice of change, the new chief is regarded as a battle-tested commander with more than a decade of frontline experience against Russian forces. Zelensky also revealed that he held talks with US envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, saying diplomatic efforts to end the war are continuing.
Щойно ми говорили разом з Рустемом Умєровим, Кирилом Будановим, Сергієм Кислицею, з представниками президента Америки Стівом Віткофом, Джаредом Кушнером. Дипломатичний трек, дипломатичний процес для нас триває кожного дня. Ми не зупиняємось в намаганні зупинити цю війну. Це головне, щоб росіяни справді були готові до зупинки війни.
As Ukraine enters another critical phase of the war, Kyiv hopes its new military leadership can strengthen both the battlefield campaign and the push for peace.
Wildfires continue to rage across parts of Spain, forcing emergency evacuations as flames moved dangerously close to residential areas in Toledo. Civil Guard teams went door to door rescuing residents, including the elderly, while firefighters battled the fast-moving blaze on the ground from the air. And the wildfire comes as Spain faces another devastating fire season following an intense heat wave now. Take a look at this report.
Emergency evacuations are underway in Spain's Toledo province as a fast-moving wildfire advances towards residential neighborhoods. Civil Guard teams went door-to-door, urging residents to leave immediately as flames closed in on the Enclare urbanization. Elderly residents, families and pets were safely evacuated as emergency teams rushed people out of the threatened homes. Wildfire has already damaged homes and vehicles as thick smoke engulfed several residential areas. Government drone footage showed the scale of the wildfire spreading through nearby Almorox in Toledo. Authorities say the fire perimeter remained stable overnight with 13 fire engines deployed to contain the blaze. Spain has already recorded 22 major forest fires this year, each burning more than 500 hectares after weeks of extreme threat. As firefighters continue battling the flames, authorities have urged people to avoid affected areas while evacuation efforts remain underway.
The US-Iran conflict has ended its 13th day since the collapse of the ceasefire, with Washington carrying out a 12th consecutive night of strikes targeting Iranian military infrastructure. Here's a report on that.
The US-Iran conflict has entered its 13th day with fresh American strikes extending into 12th consecutive night of military operations after the ceasefire collapsed. The latest US strike hit the border crossing between Iran and Iraq, killing 2 people and injuring 11 according to Iranian officials. CENTCOM says it struck Iranian missile and drone storages sites, maritime capabilities, coastal surveillance systems, and air defense assets to weaken Tehran's military capabilities. The US says it has also redirected commercial vessels and continues enforcing its naval blockade around the Iranian ports. President Donald Trump has now threatened to destroy one Iranian bridge or power plant every time Tehran targets a ship in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has also responded with a sharp warning, saying any attack on its infrastructure will be met with a powerful and decisive response. Tehran says it will continue responding under its eye for an eye doctrine as tensions around the Strait of Hormuz continue to escalate. With Strait of Hormuz still under severe pressure, oil prices have climbed to more than 1.5% to their highest level in more than 6 weeks amid fears of prolonged disruption to global energy supplies. As diplomacy remains stalled and both sides intensify military action, the US-Iran confrontation is entering an increasingly dangerous phase with no immediate path to de-escalation.
And with that, a wrap on this edition of Republic Global, viewers. But on the other side, we continue to bring you more stories from across the country. It's time at 7 p.m. for This Is Exclusive.
At 7:30 tonight, we will tell you how the CJP's violent protest is escalating, with now it seems that anti-social elements have hijacked the students' movement. We'll tell you more about it and how the government is dealing with the violent protesters, and the Delhi police is now probing which link with the CJP. We will tell you all this in coming up at 7:30 in the Super Prime Time.
Co-powered by Crystal Crop Protection, देश का किसान, देश का हीरो।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ, 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है, सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates: IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
प्यास बुझाए, ठंडक लाए, सबको भाए जीरा से, MTH का जलजीरा जीरा से।
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील टीएम की बात एकदम सॉलिड।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा,
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच, लस्सी और छाछ।
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। अब बताओ स्वाद आया?
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
और एक सीधा सवाल जो मैं सीधा अभिजीत दिप्के से पूछना चाह रहा हूँ कि इस पूरे प्रोटेस्ट में कहाँ है भाई तुम? भाई रहने दो, मत तोड़ो यार।
At 7:30 tonight, we will tell you how the CJP's violent protest is escalating with now it seems that anti-social elements have hijacked the students' movement. We'll tell you more about it and how the government is dealing with the violent protesters, and the Delhi police is now probing which link with the CJP. We will tell you all this in coming up at 7:30 in the super prime time.
Random foreigners at CJP site. Why are foreigners at CJP protest? Deep state role becoming clearer. Debating tonight at 9 p.m.
Presented by Amity University, ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally. Powered by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, growing legacies since 1820. TVS iQube, India's favorite family EV. Co-powered by Crystal Crop Protection, देश का किसान, देश का हीरो.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
प्यास बुझाए, ठंडक लाए, सबको भाए जीरा से। MTH का जलजीरा जीरा से।
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MTH।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता, उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ, 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है, सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
यानी इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील टीएम की बात एकदम सॉलिड।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच, लस्सी और छाछ।
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े।
चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा,
The violent protest stones were there. They had come with reportedly, what I'm hearing from certain sections of the reporters is that there was a truck laden with stones. Something similar that you do in Kashmir. When Kashmir was prior to the application of Article 370, a hole of mess in for these kind of activities. That's exactly the playbook. On July 17th, interestingly, the US Embassy put out an advisory talking about demonstration which was going to be happening on July 20th and July 21st. It's very important you understand this aspect of it, because time and again I have been informing with the Republic TV the hand of the US deep state in activities in India, whether it was Manipur, whether it is the northeastern region in totality, in certain parts in Punjab, certain aspects of anarchy that might spring out in some southern states. The US deep state is very, very active at this point of time in India. Now, why the letter of the US Embassy is very interesting, because it's very unusual that the US Embassy would have such details and be well informed that it put it on that particular letter. They knew about the location, they knew about the expected mobilization much before the event. So this letter came out on 17th. The protest happened on the 20th and the 21st. They even knew that there was the 250 farmer organizations going to come out and protest on 21st, and they were also going to march to Parliament. They also knew the locations where the American citizenship.
At 7:30 tonight, we will tell you how the CJP's violent protest is escalating, with now it seems that anti-social elements have hijacked the students' movement. We'll tell you more about it and how the government is dealing with the violent protesters, and the Delhi police is now probing which link with the CJP. We will tell you all this in coming up at 7:30 in the Super Prime Time.
Random foreigners at CJP site. Why are foreigners at CJP protest? Deep state role becoming clearer. Debating tonight at 9 p.m.
Presented by Amity University, ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally. Powered by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, growing legacies since 1820. TVS iQube, India's favorite family EV.
Rahul Gandhi says he's supporting the violence by the CJP, and he says, I'm fighting for students. I don't want paper leaks. If there are paper leaks, then the government should come down, and the CJP should be allowed to do whatever the hell it wants to do. And the CJP is a murderous mob of lynchers. So I don't intend to embarrass the Congress. They should be embarrassed, because for the last decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, 4 decades, they are the master chefs of paper leaks. Is Rahul Gandhi happy because there's anarchy? Does he think this anarchy will make him the Prime Minister? No, Rahul Gandhi, no. And if deep state Dipke, if coward Dipke has any guts or morality, let him stand on stage and ask all the Congress leaders, National Conference leaders, left leaders, Trinamool leaders, all of them to quit for the paper leaks that have happened under their watch. Can he do that? I don't think he can, but it's time to corner them with facts.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on This Is Exclusive. So this Thursday evening, we're coming to you with pictures like we have been for the last 4 days. And when you look at the pictures from the last 4 days, there is one headline that becomes increasingly clear with every passing day. And that headline is that it is anything but about the students. Ladies and gentlemen, are they really students? Has it been infiltrated? We'll tell you all about why we think it's been infiltrated. Here are the headlines on This Is Exclusive. Sonam Wangchuk has softened his position from saying Dharmendra Pradhan must resign. He now says that the minister must consider resignation. Is there a divide between Sonam Wangchuk and Dip K? Dip K takes a pro-Congress hardline even as Wangchuk strikes a conciliatory note on the aspect of resignation. From lynching to throwing beer bottles to pelting stones, are they really students who have gathered in Jantar Mantar, or are they goons who've taken over the so-called CJP protest? What explains Americans at the CJP protest? Pictures and videos emerge of several Americans who are here. What are they doing there, and why are they abusing the Indian government? How are they abusing the Indian Prime Minister? Is there something larger at work here? The Prime Minister issues directions for fast-track courts to be set up. Directions have been issued to states, high courts to give speedy justice on paper leaks. Delhi police given NSA powers by the centre to make detentions if necessary for anywhere between 12 days and 12 months. Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, since we were broadcasting live this time last evening, there are at least 15 to 20 videos that have come in that show the violence and how the protest has turned into a display of vandalism, violence. They continue to try and lynch police officers. Let's take you through the pictures in the last 24 hours itself. In the last 24 hours, these are some of the videos of how a Delhi police officer, an ACP rank officer, was almost lynched by the mob last evening, like their pattern has been for the last at least 4 days. Since Monday, they've been attacking police officers, attacking RAF personnel, and this was another video that came in last evening. They cornered the policeman, they chased him down. That's an ACP rank officer who was targeted and he was injured. Lathis were also used in the violence. You see different kinds of groups, they're anything but students. They are not students. Look at them carrying lathis. They came to the protest. They were armed. Some of them had swords. And they started beating up police officers and RAF personnel. Let's look at some of the videos. The other videos that came into our newsrooms, look at that. They took over a police car and they were standing on police cars that were patrolling Jantar Mantar. These are students, ladies and gentlemen. Meet the students who are fighting for NEET paper leak. They are students, new age students. Let's show you the other videos that came in from the national capital. This is another video of the ACP rank officer who was brutally beaten up last night. In fact, he even spoke to Republic TV. Their aim has been to, if they find a cop who's solo, who's a little isolated from the rest of the police officers, they target him, they surround him, and they begin to lynch him. And this was the situation last evening as well with this officer. Let's show you other videos that came into our newsrooms. Attempt to lynch forces, another angle where they took away the batons of the para forces and they started beating up the police officers. Now that has been a standard practice. Look at that. They took away the batons and they started chasing police officers. In fact, police officers were almost pinned down to a circle, to a particular area in Jantar Mantar, and we were live when this happened, a little after 10 p.m. Now the next pictures of how these CJP goons broke barricades and tore up their shirts, their clothes, and this was what they were doing last night, completely out of their minds. Some of them were even perhaps intoxicated, because otherwise how would beer bottles get there? And they were throwing beer bottles at the police forces. And let's show you some more videos of the so-called students. Vandalism of a petrol pump. We showed you the videos of how they almost tried to set a petrol pump ablaze. There's a CCTV video of the same. So if you had any doubts, the CCTV video has made it absolutely clear that this was an attempt to torch. Look at that. Even the police officers couldn't withstand that. They had to retreat. Now all of them started throwing pelting stones, and some of them even tried to light a match inside a petrol pump. These were some of the videos that came in, and let's now also show you a graphic. Now, the internet was snapped in that 500-meter radius. It's not happening all over the national capital. It's happening in a very small area, limited to about 500 meters, 1 kilometer radius, and there are a few thousands of them, yes. Internet has been suspended, yes. But how are they communicating? How are they communicating? Ladies and gentlemen, take a look at this. For example, this snapshot tells you how they were communicating even with the internet snapped. They take a snapshot of a map, and on the map they make handwritten notes. They make circles asking for people to attend. Look at that. They've written some notes. In this creative, they have said that the green circle is where you must try and assemble. The area circled in green is barricaded with a lot of policemen deployed. Area circled in blue is barricaded with no police stationed. And area circled in black is fully barricaded with RAF and police. They asked people to come here 7:16 p.m. July 22nd. That is last evening. And that is when the violence broke out. Isn't it a coincidence? Now, how did they do that? They simply copied this creative and they sent SMSs to each other. Internet snap, no problem. They have an app for it which uses Bluetooth, and this continued. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how they're communicating. And let's start looking at the visuals. And the other picture that we wanted to get to you was of these Americans. There are some Americans, some Russians, some saying some Germans are also there at the protest. Now, how did they get there? Let's show you the pictures of these Germans and Americans. Why are Americans at the protest at CJP? The CJP protest, we can't figure what the Americans have to do, whether the Americans have changed their citizenship and they want to study NEET examinations. We don't know. Shantanu Gupta and... just one second. Let me show you the pictures. Let's go to the pictures. Let's show the Americans. This is I hear that this is a Russian. This is a Russian. There is another German. Can we show the German as well, please? There is a German as well here. And an American. This is of a Russian who's at the CJP protest. Now, why would, just think about it. Think about it, Shantanu. Yeah. Why would a Russian be at this protest, right? Why would an American be at this protest? In fact, and General Rajan Kochar, look at this. This seems to be a YouTuber kind of guy. He's an American, we are told. Why would they be there at the protest? Are they really students? What is going on? Who wants to take this first? Okay, if you want to start, Shantanu Gupta.
So it's not only the Russians and the Americans. From last 1 month, I'm hearing everything but any explanation, any theory around NEET. Yeah. I never heard any solution that how NEET paper in future will go leak free. I never heard what all reforms are done in exam spaces in different states, right? So I'm hearing 370, I'm hearing LGBTQ, I'm hearing Brahmanwad, but I'm not hearing about NEET. So this is a sedition. And now when I'm seeing this, basically from last at least 2 dozen whenever the parliament is happening, I'm hearing Pegasus, I'm hearing Hindenburg, I'm hearing SIR. So some mudda they're looking for, right? Yeah. And from last 1 month, Ram Mandir mudda they're trying to cook up. Yogi Adityanath solved it. So okay, they moved on. They say ethanol was not coming up for them. And then they were watching CJP. CJP was typically, everyone knows, Aam Aadmi Party thing, right? Everybody was trying, and last 2 days everybody was trying to hop on it. Did you see in parliament how Akhilesh Yadav and Congress was fighting for the mudda? Inka mudda nahi hai to hamara bhi mudda hai, right? Then Rahul rushes to the Prime Minister's house. Then Akhilesh also comes here. Aam Aadmi Party saying ye to unka mudda nahi hai, to unka mudda le rahe hain. So no one has a iota of concern about NEET. The people who have done NEET, re-NEET ho gaya hai. Agle saal CBT hoga. It's very clear. सब लोग अपने फोटो डाल रहे हैं. From a fruit seller's kid to a auto fellow kid, they are very happy. They are saying, okay, we passed NEET, I am going to this college, right? So I think a lot of people in India just trying to find a reason to create a ruckus. Yeah. Topic is solved, re-NEET is there, and also Nilanjan, in last 8 years we have seen how major examination reforms have happened. 12 lakh people write IIT, JEE, CBT. First time in the world. 12 lakh people like CUT, first CBT based, computer based test. See, Dipke came from America. In America, every exam happened on a CBT. He never spoke about the solution. Yeah. He's only saying, Dharmendra Pradhan ka istifa de do, usse kya ho jayega? The new minister kaun si policy le aayega? Yeah. Someone is an educationist, someone is a activist, but nobody has a solution. And now you find these very bizarre elements. From 370 walas to Brahmanabad walas to this Videshi wala. And also in the southern, kya pass hone wala? FCRA. Yeah. From everyone from Kerala to Punjab, FCR has become a huge problem. कैसे चलाएंगे? सारी दुकानें तो FCR से चल रही हैं.
Yeah.
And I think if you find connection, you will find the connection to the FCRs.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
General Rajan Kochar, you look at the pictures. In fact, there was a video, very interesting video that came into our newsrooms, and I don't know whether we have it published. I'll request our producers to pull that video. Very interesting video. We had priests belonging to different churches marching to Jantar Mantar. There were at least 50 to 100 of them. Now, there's nothing wrong in them showing solidarity. But there are more questions that we have because, you know, FCRA, like he mentioned, FCRA is a big problem. In fact, it is such a big problem that churches spoke out against FCRA.
Yeah,
churches
openly.
Churches met. Churches asked for FCRA to be stopped.
No camouflaging.
No camouflaging. And in fact, American congressmen, American leaders have been saying that India should not bring in the FCRA bill.
Exactly.
Right? And then you had the US embassy that puts out an alert, sir, on the 17th, saying on 20th, don't go here, don't go there, because it's going to happen exactly here. 20th, 21st here, and they talk about the Kisan groups, and then you suddenly have Americans turn up here, and then you join the dots. We've seen the Delhi riots, making of a riot, Delhi riot, Shaheen Bagh. I mean, these guys all work together, and the same imprint is being seen here as well. So, my question to you then is, sir, is it anything to do with students at all?
Thank you, Niranjan. And see, what has happened here is this student movement has been hijacked because right from 30 days, more than 30 days, you know, they were at Jantar Mantar, nothing happened. It was a peaceful protest. And all of a sudden, we find the transformation taking place. Because right now, and seeing your visuals also, you can make out that students have become a minority here. And the people other than students have become the majority here. So I think there is a design. A second important aspect, you mentioned about the Americans and the Russians. I just want to give you a backgrounder on this because it's important to actually connect these dots. A US Deputy Secretary of State, he comes to India in a Raisina dialogue.
Yeah. Yes.
He comes in a Raisina dialogue and he makes a very, very bold statement saying that we will not allow India to grow stronger the way we permitted China.
Yes.
And we don't want to see a strong India. So, a Secretary of State, a Deputy Secretary of State making a public statement, what does it actually indicate to you? The United States is your friend or your enemy?
Yeah.
Second important, a few days back on the Nepal border,
yes,
there was a US CIA operative who was arrested. A pointer that, you know, what was he doing that and why was he trying to enter India from Nepal? A few months back in Manipur, you find those Americans and Ukrainians also there,
yes, they were.
as a matter of fact, and they were trying to propagate the Christian angle as we are actually coming here.
Yes, of course.
So, if you connect these dots, it is very apparent that this movement has been hijacked now.
Yeah.
So, I want to appeal because I am an army officer. I have served for 27 years in the Indian Army, and I am very much distressed because, you know, I've been director of a business school for 5 years. I've been associated with students. I've been visiting Delhi University also a number of times, interacting. And I am actually distressed that this movement has taken this shape into a violent form. And I would like to appeal from this podium to all the students that please remove the shaft, because you see your movement has been hijacked by these people, and if you indulge in violence, it is not going to pay dividends. And as rightly you said here, the resignation of a minister is not important. The reforms of this system.
Take a look at this this very interesting picture. Can we go full frame, please? Just go full frame to the picture 1 second. I want to read what this guy is holding in his hand. It's a placard. Can you go full frame? Yeah, look at that. He says, as a German,
I know what a dictatorship is when I see one. Now, I don't know who this joker is, right? But this joker claims he's a German and he's wearing a hat, he's wearing spectacles, and he's come there standing at Jantar Mantar. Okay? Now, what the hell is going on? Because there are Russians, there are Germans, right? There are Americans. Now, I don't know who else is there, but one thing is clear. It's been infiltrated.
Yeah, Nilanjan, see, nobody likes a strong India. Yeah. And that's understandable, right? In this world, America doesn't like, Germany doesn't like, UK doesn't like. But the sad part is that even Rahul Gandhi doesn't like a strong India. Even Akhilesh Yadav doesn't like a strong India. Because otherwise they can't play because their brand of politics is thoda Muslim ko appease karo, thoda jati mein play karo and win the elections. In a strong India, that's not possible. Yeah. In an aware India, that's not possible, right? Now, someone like Yogendra Yadav, who you can find in every movement, he's openly saying कि अब चुनाव vote से नहीं होंगे, सड़कों पे होंगे.
Yeah, he said that. He said that.
He's articulating it in the same way. And as Sir was saying, when Secretary of State Marco Rubio came, he goes to Calcutta.
He lands there first. He lands there first. And he goes to Missionaries of Charity.
What kind of signal is that? What kind of signal is that, right?
And straight there.
Openly now from their country and their stooges here, they are opposing FCRA, right? And see, every find, as I told you,
changing the visuals, please.
They keep finding any reasons. First, Hindenburg, it gets solved in 6 months. Then there's a Pegasus, when Supreme Court says, Rahul Gandhi, give your phone to us. He said, no, I can't give my phone. So they will keep moving to topic. They will not even come back to the topic.
Yeah.
Right? They will create a ruckus because FCRA should not get passed. Parisaman should not get passed. The women reservation could not get passed, right? They will never talk on NEET. Now the video is getting viral where Priyanka Gandhi on a stage sharing with Ashok Gehlot is saying कि 17 paper leak हुए हम कुछ कर नहीं पा रहे हैं बहुत बड़ी समस्या है देश में paper leak is a big what Congress has done for paper leak is anybody's talking solution the only person talking solution is 3 people Smriti Irani Prakash Javadekar and Dharmendra Pradhan as I told you IIT JEE CUET UGC NET are online lakhs and lakhs of people whole of railway exam is online whole of bank PO is online because till date, there was no CBT-based system. Now, this government has developed almost 8 lakh seats in the country. Why NEET is not possible till today? It will be possible next year because there are only 8 lakh seats. They are trying to increase the seat. Nobody is saying what we are doing for that solution. Dharmendra Pradhan का इस्तीफा दे दो, उससे क्या सीटें create हो जाएंगी?
Yeah.
Will you be able to do CBT seats? No.
I think somewhere students, I don't know because there was this video that I just saw of of a Sikh blogger, looks like a blogger, and then he says, I came here, I thought I'll see students here. He said only 20% of them are students.
Also students.
Yeah, obviously. See.
Have you just one thing, sir. Okay. Have you seen any video of a NEET aspirant? I have not seen any video कि भाई मेरा exam था NEET का और मैं exam नहीं दे पाया I am very traumatized. I have not seen any video, sir.
You know why it is not that? Because a retest has been done. You see the entire government took the blame for the leak.
Exactly.
They started a process in which the retest could be organized at the earliest, and it happened in
within two weeks. Yeah.
About 15-20 days or a month at the most.
The result has also come.
And they took this logistic help of the Indian Air Force to ensure that the papers reach in a faster time.
For that also they have a problem. Oh my God, अब तो army का इस्तेमाल होगा.
You know, all these was a reason to actually quicken the process because normally the logistics take a lot of time. So they use the Indian Air Force to speed up the process.
And also the chances of leaks reduces once you use army.
I want to play out this fantastic soundbite. I mean, I heard that Rahul Gandhi is now going to march somewhere. He's somewhere in Delhi, apparently going to go somewhere and now demonstrate now this late, right? Because he's got this FOMO. He feels that he's not there. He's getting criticized by some of them.
FOMO from
everybody.
These 3 people.
Yeah.
Only these 3.
But no.
Rahul Gandhi, Akhilesh Yadav, and Kejriwal.
I want to now play a Now I want to play a soundbite, and I want you to listen to that soundbite. Rahul Gandhi in 2011, where he himself, his government was in power, and he said people on the streets cannot decide. Priyanka Vadra last I think it was last year, she says paper leaks happens in every state. It's a problem. And then Chidambaram in 2011 said those on the streets cannot decide what we do as policymakers. Now these are the same people on the streets. Can I please play that out? Please. Yes.
A process divorced from the machinery of an elected government that seeks to undo the checks and balances created to protect the supremacy of Parliament of this House sets a dangerous precedent for our democracy. Today the proposed law is against corruption. Tomorrow the target may be something less universally heralded. It may attack the plurality of our society and our democracy.
आपको मालूम है पेपर लीक की बड़ी समस्या है। गहलोत जी भी जानते हैं कि राजस्थान में भी पेपर लीक हुए थे और ये एक बड़ी समस्या पूरे देश में है, सिर्फ एक प्रदेश की समस्या नहीं है। और बहुत इसको रुकवाने की कोशिश चाहे कितना भी की होगी गहलोत जी ने, लेकिन फिर भी बार बार ये हो रहा था।
Only mean that whoever was able to undertake the longest hunger strike would win and get his demand accepted. It is neither democracy nor anything else. It is an utterly wrong path.
Yeah, I mean, times change, governments change, everybody forgets everything. Last word to both of you gentlemen, if in 20 seconds each, if you can tell me, sir, how do you think the government should deal with this? I mean, when the NEET issue happened, they came under fire, they fixed the system. I mean, when you look at the genesis of who leaked the papers, there was some paper setters, and there was some examiner, right? There is no political role in it, but they've taken action. But according to you, what can the government do given the situation in the national capital last few days? 20 seconds each, sir. You can go.
The first thing the government actually should do is that we must start a kind of a dialogue immediately with NEET students, not these people. The NEET students to find a wire media or a method to ensure that paper leaks don't take place in the near future, because a reform of that process is to be required. That is point number one. And point number two is that we have to identify these kind of people who are on the street, and it has to be done ruthlessly now, because a show of force by the government is required to control the situation. Otherwise, you will go out of hand. Yeah. So far, the Delhi police has done. Let me tell you, there have been brickbats on the Delhi police, but a lot of restraint has been shown on them.
They have been extremely restrained.
And a lot of their own people have been injured.
Absolutely.
So I think we need to be slightly more forceful in carrying out arrest of these people and try.
That is not students, but these lumpens.
Not the students.
These lumpens.
But these people have to be identified.
Criminals.
And put behind bars.
Yeah, okay. Shantanu, quickly, 20 seconds.
Three quick things. As sir said, they should start a dialogue with the NEET students. None of them are NEET students. But they should start talking to all of these elements also. And that itself will expose them. Because now, Sonam Wangchuk to Dipke to Congress is speaking completely different language. One is saying Dharmendra Pradhan ka resignation, one is saying Sansad mein question utha lo. Right? So and keep telling what they're saying. And they will keep harassing you. They saying, "Mera phone rakh liya tha, phone photo mein dikh jayega." So keep exposing them very silently. Once they come for dialogue, because they don't have any agenda anyways, right?
That's right.
So once you start declaring their dialogue, in fact, I'll say live telecast their dialogues, because they are very not coherent in what they're saying, right? And that itself will expose them. Yeah. Just live telecast discussion with these Dipkes and all their spokesmen.
Dialogue is very important.
Yeah, thank you, Chelal Kochar and Shantanu for joining us on this broadcast. We'll take a short break, but we have a special edition of the debate coming up with Arnab, 8 p.m. He's live on Republic Bharat now, 8 p.m. He will be on English. Stay tuned, he's got some big revelations coming up tonight. Thanks for watching.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates. IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
Papa.
सॉरी यार, गलती हो गई है। ये चोट खर्चा वर्चा।
अरे लास्ट बॉल पे छक्का भी तुम्हारा। छक्का? सब कैशलेस हो गया है। हाँ।
ला भाई मेरा बैट। वो अभी तो ठीक हुआ तू।
जो डिस्चार्ज हुआ यार।
बैट किसका है?
टाटा AIG है तो भरोसा है।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट।
स्वाद बढ़ाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और फरसान। अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
I wake up wearing someone else again. Skin tight like porcelain. I don't recognize these eyes. Something scratching from inside. Don't let it slip. I'm losing losing control. I don't wanna be safe anymore. Underneath there's a fire they can't keep. No more faces.
Finding myself. That's my moment of Sarah.
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
और एक सीधा सवाल जो मैं सीधा अभिजीत दिप्के से पूछना चाह रहा हूँ कि इस पूरे प्रोटेस्ट में कहाँ है भाई तुम?
भाई रहने दो, मत तोड़ो यार। सब भागे, पुलिस वाले भागे।
At 7:30 tonight, we will tell you how the CJP's violent protest is escalating with now it seems that anti-social elements have hijacked the students' movement. We'll tell you more about it and how the government is dealing with the violent protesters, and the Delhi police is now probing which link with the CJP. We will tell you all this in coming up at 7:30 in the Super Prime Time.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
I wake up wearing someone else again. Skin tight like porcelain. I don't recognize these eyes. Something scratching from inside. Don't let it slip. I'm losing control. I don't wanna be safe anymore. Underneath there's a fire they can't keep. No more faces.
Finding myself. That's my moment of Sarah.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ।
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। अब बताओ स्वाद आया?
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
The violent protest stones were there. They had come with reportedly, what I'm hearing from certain sections of the reporters is that there was a truck laden with stones. Something similar that you do in Kashmir. When Kashmir was, prior to the application of Article 370, a whole of mess for these kind of activities. That's exactly the playbook. On July 17th, interestingly, the US Embassy put out an advisory talking about demonstration which was going to be happening on July 20th and July 21st. That's very important you understand.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Republic. We will tell you lots more lined up on this news edition on Super Prime Time. We will unravel the CJP's real intention and what's planned next. Despite government's offer, how is the CJP taking forward and using this protest as its advantage? But are students really echoing the same sentiments? Or is it just some anti-social elements which are hijacking the protest? We'll tell you more, but first up, let's take a look at the headlines. Sonam Wangchuk softens position, says conciliatory note from demanding resignation. He now asks the centre to consider resignation of Union Minister Dharmendra Pradhan. Dipke and CJP take a pro-Congress hardline even as Wangchuk strikes a conciliatory note on resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan. From lynching to throwing beer bottles and pelting stones, are they really students who have gathered at Jantar Mantar, or are these some gundas? Questions over foreigners spotted at the CJP protest. What exactly are foreigners doing at a protest which was meant for students? Prime Minister Narendra Modi issues directions for fast-track courts to be set up. Directions issued to states and high courts to give speedy justice on paper leaks. Delhi police given NSA powers by centre to make detentions of writers if necessary for anywhere between 12 days and 12 months. Disturbing visuals have emerged from the chaos of the CJP protest site at Jantar Mantar, where multiple police officials, security personnel, as well as personnel from the Rapid Action Force were cornered, beaten, and had their uniforms torn off in a brutal display of mob violence. In these visuals, the protesters can also be seen snatching the weapons of the security personnel away from them, including their sticks, batons, and even their personal property, and then start beating the personnel with it. The CJP leadership says they do not condone violence, but the protesters in these visuals seem to be organized, planned and present ahead of time at the exact places where these personnel have been brutally attacked, giving a total irony to the message the CJP has been preaching. Take a look at these visuals.
The CJP protest, which was peaceful initially, has now developed into complete and rampant chaos. Multiple videos have now emerged from the CJP protest at Jantar Mantar, which shows the brutal display of mob violence against various security personnel. In the first video, we can clearly see the CJP goons surrounding and brutally attacking the security forces tasked with maintaining the peace of the protest. In this visual, swords, batons and long sticks can be seen in the hands of these CJP goons, half of which can be assumed were snatched from the security personnel. The harrowing visual shows abuses being hurled at policemen while they are being pelted with stones. Look at these visuals. CJP goons were carrying bricks and bottles with them, and these goons hurled stones at security forces in Jantar Mantar during what was supposed to be a peaceful protest. Cornering and then attacking like hounds are what these protesters are trying to do, as the visuals show a mob lynching attempt on a police official by these lumpens. The policeman in the visual is ACP Vivek Bhagat, someone with a family, someone who was just doing his job and then getting attacked for it by these lumpens who have no regard for peace or human consideration. Scenes of absolute chaos engulfed the protest as dozens of cops were injured. Barricades were broken as the lumpers ran roughshod all around the security personnel. only did the lumpens attack security personnel and destroy government property, they also tried destroying public and private property as they foolishly vandalized a petrol pump, after which they discussed the possible ramifications of such an act. Even after all the violence, the police here can be seen appealing to the protesters, the lumpens, to tone down their violence and protest peacefully. The repeated attacks on police personnel, damage to public property, and attempts to snatch official equipment have now become central to investigation to identify and prosecute these fringe elements. But the question remains, how did a protest meant to be peaceful devolve into such violence and brutality against the very security officials tasked to maintain the peace? One thing from these visuals are clear. Anti-social elements have completely hijacked the protest and trying to spread anarchy in the national capital region.
A protest that was projected as a students' movement descended into scenes of complete chaos in the heart of national capital. From stone pelting to clashes with security personnel, visuals show police personnel injured on duty. There was abusive sloganeering, bottles being thrown, and sections of the crowd making obscene gestures towards cameras. Visuals also show how protesters carrying long sticks and lathis at the site. The question being asked now, were these really students, or was something else was unfolding in the streets of Delhi? More on this report.
टीयर गैस ने मार ली भाई हमारी। मेरा पूरा मुंह जल रहा है, इधर इधर ये सारी चीजें जल रही है यार। दिल्ली पुलिस, बीजेपी, इंडियन आर्मी।
A protest that was projected as a students' movement descended into scenes of chaos in the heart of the national capital. From stone pelting to clashes with security personnel, from abusive sloganeering to visuals of bottles being thrown. Questions are now being raised over the conduct of those gathered in the name of peaceful protest.
There was mob of maybe 2,000 or 3,000, 5,000 something people were gathered there, and suddenly there was 150 something persons. They started gathering around me and they attacked me with lathi, danda, stones, some sharp weapons. Something was there in their hand.
Exactly was the sharp weapons? Did you see, like, was it some kind of a knife or some kind of a, like, you know,
like some blade or some small knife was there, I think. They were attacking me from the behind, and when I saw that there was something, some sharp weapon was there.
Were these protesters really students? Or was something else unfolding on the streets of Delhi? A demonstration that appears to have spiraled into violent clashes right in the heart of the national capital. Not just this, few protesters were also seen carrying long sticks and lathis. Why does a protest claim to be held in students' interests need to carry such weapons? Questions are now being raised over how such objects reach the protest site. The aggression wasn't limited to physical clashes. Visuals also show sections of the crowd shouting abusive slogans, while some individuals are captured making obscene gestures towards cameras. For now, the images from Jantar Mantar continue to raise serious questions about the violence that unfolded in the national capital.
After days of an aggressive face-off with the centre, Sonam Wangchuk's tone appears to be softening. Wangchuk now says that if his demands are addressed, he is willing to end his indefinite fast. Earlier, remember, he had demanded Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation. He was adamant on it. Now he is urging the government to merely consider the minister's resignation. More in this report. After days of an aggressive face-off with the centre, Sonam Wangchuk's tone appears to be softening. Sonam Wangchuk now says that if his demands are addressed, he is willing to end his indefinite fast. Earlier, Wangchuk, who had aggressively demanded Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation,
यहाँ बहुत से लोग हमसे पूछते हैं क्या इस आंदोलन से जवाबदेही आएगी, क्या शिक्षा मंत्री इस्तीफ़ा देंगे आप लोगों के इस आंदोलन से, तो क्या इस आंदोलन से एक जवाबदेही तक नहीं लाई जाएगी, क्या एक इस्तीफ़ा नहीं होगी। 20 जुलाई को मेरे साथ संसद की तरफ मार्च कीजिएगा।
But now he is urging the government to merely consider that demand.
मैं सरकार से विनती करता हूं कि वो और ऐसे ताकत बल का प्रयोग न करें बच्चों पर, और दूसरी बात उन पर आरोप और एफआईआर जिससे कि उन्हें सताया जा सके जेल या पुलिस द्वारा, ये न करने की मुझे आश्वासन चाहिए।
From an uncompromising ultimatum to a softer appeal, a noticeable shift is seen in his stance. But even as Wangchuk appears to lower the political pitch, Dipke and the CJP continue with a sharper attack on the centre. Is this merely a difference in strategy? Or are contrasting approaches become visible within the protest leadership? Now, what is the centre doing amid all this political and protest drama? The centre has unveiled its toughest response yet on the paper leak. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has announced that setting up of fast-track courts to ensure those accused of stealing students' future face speedy trials and strict punishment. The announcement comes amid nationwide protests and political uproar over paper leaks, with the government insisting now that justice will be swift. More in this report.
At the level of the Prime Minister, a response has been given.
फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट बनाकर सजा दी जाएगी जो दोषी हैं।
The centre has unveiled its toughest response yet to the examination paper leak menace. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has announced fast-track courts to ensure those accused of stealing students' future face speedy trials and strict action. The announcement comes amid political uproar over paper leaks and nationwide protests, with the government insisting justice will be swift and the opposition accusing it of failing students. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has announced a major crackdown on the paper leak mafia. The Prime Minister has directed that fast-track courts could be set up to ensure speedy trials and swift punishment for every accused involved in compromising students' future.
At the level of the Prime Minister, a response has been given. In fact, much before today's announcement of setting up fast-track courts and assuring the punishments will be handed over to those people who violated the sacredness of an exam by leaking the papers, by buying papers, by selling papers. Even earlier to this announcement, the government arrested those people who actually committed this crime.
The announcement has also intensified the political battle. While the government says it is ready for a discussion in Parliament, it also accuses the opposition of disrupting proceedings. Fast-track courts faster trials, and a promise of tougher punishment. The real test, however, will be whether this crackdown finally dismantles the paper leak mafia. Breaking news coming in at this hour. India conducts successful test flight of long-range surface-to-air missile Kusha. This is a big boost to Atmanirbhar Bharat in defense sector. This is a key test for Project Kusha, an indigenous air defense system. Remember, India has been making an upward trajectory in the defense sector, and this is a key achievement, that the test flight of an important surface-to-air missile system has been successful by the DRDO. This is the Kusha missile. The visuals on your screens. The Union Defence Minister Rajnath Singh hailed this achievement by the DRDO, successful launch of the Kusha missile. My colleague Rakshita is joining me for more on this. Rakshita, a good news coming in for the defence sector. Tell us more about it. We are seeing that a new milestone has been achieved in the defense sector. This is the Kusha missile, which is a surface-to-air missile. A successful test flight has been completed by the DRDO. It is a long-range surface-to-air missile Kusha, which shows that how on the right trajectory Bharat is when it comes to Atmanirbharta and making important missiles and defense weapons at home. My colleague Rakshita is now with us. Rakshita, a good news coming in for the defense sector. Tell us more about it.
Well, it's planned as a multi-tier air defense system for the country, and something that we're looking at par with the S-400 systems in Russia, or even the Patriot system, the air defense system that belongs to the United States. So it is important for Project Kusha. The Raksha Mantri has time and again talked about its importance as India is looking to reduce its dependency on other countries or other defense partners as far as building the air shield is concerned. So yes, if we talk about Kusha particularly, well, it's very, very important given the range it has, and it is an important step in direction of building that multi-layer air missile system, air defense system. It's a long-range air defense system that we have tested. The DRDO successfully conducted the test, and more such tests will be, of course, followed earlier too. There have been some trials, as has been indicated by the Ministry of Defense in the past, but yes, comes at a very, very crucial time when India is looking at self-reliance in defense and building its own air shield given the changing nature of warfare. So this air missile system also counters the UAVs, the drone threats, apart from the missile threats.
Absolutely, Rakshita. It is a big boost to Atmanirbhar Bharat, which time and again has been Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision for India. Viksit Bharat 2047 is the key when India has to achieve that mission, and India is on the right path. Well, lots more lined up on the other side. Don't go anywhere. Keep watching Republic and Prime Time debate with Arnab. Real students, don't get misled by these protesters who are in the guise of student protest, are ruling complete anarchy on the streets of the national capital.
Co-powered by Crystal Crop Protection, देश का किसान, देश का हीरो.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates. IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
I wake up wearing someone else again. Skin tight like porcelain. I don't recognize these eyes. Something scratching from inside. Don't let it slip. I'm losing control. I don't wanna be safe anymore. Underneath there's a fire they can't keep. No more faces.
Finding myself. That's my moment of Sarah.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
ऑक्टोरोमा मैनुअल वाइंडिंग 4 लोगों के पास है।
कुछ इससे भी अनोखा।
कमला पसंद सिर्फ एक अनोखा स्वाद। कमला पसंद पान मसाला।
और एक सीधा सवाल जो मैं सीधा अभिजीत दिप्के से पूछना चाह रहा हूँ कि इस पूरे प्रोटेस्ट में कहाँ है भाई तुम?
भाई रहने दो, मत तोड़ो यार। सब भागे, पुलिस वाले भागे। भाई ये सीपी में देख सकते हो आप लोग किस तरीके से क्या हो रहा है। पूरी पब्लिक जो है वो बहुत ज्यादा गुस्से में। भाई मैं हूँ अभी सीपी में और यहाँ पे देख सकते हो पब्लिक लोग ने पुलिस वाले को मार मार के भगा दिया यहाँ से, मार मार के। गाइस ये देखो भाई, ये देखो पूरा रोड जाम कर दिया गया बैरिकेड से। यहाँ पे पूरा बैरिकेड से घेरे हुआ था एंड अभी यहाँ पे सब देख सकते हो कैसे किस तरीके से जाम कर रहे हैं। पूरा गेट बैरिकेड हटा रहे हैं यहाँ से। ओए नहीं हो, रहने दे। भाई रहने दो, मत तोड़ो यार। बहुत ज़्यादा साइड में आके वीडियो बना रहा हूँ, ध्यान से सुनना। जो मेरा पर्सनल ऑब्जर्वेशन है इस प्रोटेस्ट को लेके, क्योंकि साइड में आके इसलिए बना रहा हूँ कि कुछ नहीं पता कौन कहाँ से आ जाए और किस बात का बुरा मान जाए, फ़ोन छीले या मारा पेटी करने लग जाए। क्योंकि ये प्रोटेस्ट जो है ना भाई, वो अपने असली आक्रामक रूप में आ चुका है। और एक सीधा सवाल जो मैं सीधा अभिजीत दिप्के से पूछना चाह रहा हूँ कि इस पूरे प्रोटेस्ट में कहाँ है भाई तुम? अगर तू लीडर है तो तेरा काम है कि लोगों में जो आक्रोश, जो आक्रमण भरा हुआ है, तो उनको शांत करवाए। भाई अगर यहाँ पे 100% लोग हैं ना, तो उसमें से बस 10 से 20% ऐसे लोग हैं जो शांतिपूर्वक प्रोटेस्ट करना चाह रहे हैं। बाकी आधे से ज़्यादा जितने भी आ रखे हैं ना, सारे गुंडे दंगाई टाइप के लोग आ रखे हैं, जिनमें आक्रोश और आक्रमण पूरा भरा हुआ है। वो कह रहे हैं पुलिस को मार देंगे, ये कर देंगे, वो कर देंगे। भाई उन्होंने पहला बैरिकेड तोड़ा, पुलिस ने कुछ नहीं बोला। दूसरा तोड़ा, तीसरा तोड़ा, जब चौथा भी तोड़ दिया ना, जब लोग अपना गुस्सा दिखाने लग गए, तब भाई पुलिस की ओर से भी हमला आया। और जब पुलिस की ओर से हमला आया तो बहुत ज़्यादा बुरा आया। जब तक शांति से कर रहे थे, पुलिस भी एक हद तक सह रही थी, कोऑपरेट कर रही थी। लोग अब कुछ भी बोलेंगे आरएसएस ये वो, पर ये मेरा एक बहुत जेन्युइन रिव्यू है और ये मेरे साथ कई और लोगों का भी रिव्यू है। मैं उनसे बात करने के बाद ही आपको बता रहा हूँ। जब पुलिस का आक्रमण आया तो लोग भागने लग गए। पुलिस ने भी काफ़ी ज़ोरों शोरों से आक्रमण किया, लोगों में मारा, कितने सारे लोग गिरे भी। पर भाई अभिजीत दिपके, मैं तुझसे पूछना चाह रहा हूँ, कहाँ है तू इस पूरे प्रोटेस्ट में? जब लोग आगे संसद की तरफ बढ़े, मैं खुद ही बैरिकेड तक के पास गया कि आगे पूरा मामला आपको दिखा पाऊँ, मैं भी देख पाऊँ। मैं ऑब्जर्व करने के लिए ही आया हूँ। तो भाई लोग अगर शांतिपूर्वक प्रोटेस्ट करने वाले बस 10 से 20% है, बाकी सारे।
Students, don't be misled. Those protesting, are they really students? Arnab debates at 8 p.m.
Presenting by Zoho Business Software, trusted by 15 crore users. Co-powered by Crystal Crop Protection, देश का किसान, देश का हीरो।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
पापा
सॉरी यार, गलती हो गई है। ये चोट खर्चा वर्चा।
अरे लास्ट बॉल पे छक्का भी तुम्हारा।
छक्का?
सब कैशलेस हो गया है। हाँ।
ला भाई मेरा बैट। वो अभी तो ठीक हुआ तू।
अभी तो डिस्चार्ज हुआ यार।
बैट किसका है?
टाटा AIG है तो भरोसा है।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता, उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ,
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है, सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
बड़े बड़े इम्तिहानों से गुजरता है, वक्त तराशता है जिसे, तो जाने क्या क्या न करता है। जब तक खुशबू सबसे बेहतरीन न बन जाए, आराम के लिए नहीं ठहरता है। जब तक लाजवाब न बन जाए, उसे नहीं इत्मीनान है। तभी तो रिचमंड बनना नहीं आसान है।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट,
स्वाद बढ़ाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है, स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और फरसान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
I wake up wearing someone else again, skin tight like porcelain. I don't recognize these eyes, something scratching from inside. Don't let it slip, I'm losing control. I don't wanna be safe anymore. Underneath there's a fire they can't keep. No more faces.
Finding myself. That's my moment of Sarah.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है, अरे मेरे राजा।
The violent protest stones were there. They had come with reportedly, what I'm hearing from certain sections of the reporters is that there was a truck laden with stones. Something similar that you do in Kashmir. When Kashmir was, prior to the application of Article 370, a whole of mess in for these kind of activities. That's exactly the playbook. On July 17th, interestingly, the US Embassy put out an advisory.
Rahul Gandhi says he's supporting the violence by the CJP, and he says I'm fighting for students. I don't want paper leaks. If there are paper leaks, then the government should come down and the CJP should be allowed to do whatever the hell it wants to do. And the CJP is a murderous mob of lynchers. I don't intend to embarrass the Congress. They should be embarrassed, because for the last decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, 4 decades, they are the master chefs of paper leaks. Is Rahul Gandhi happy because there's anarchy? Does he think this anarchy will make him the Prime Minister? No, Rahul Gandhi, no. And if deep state Dipke, if coward Dipke has any guts or morality, let him stand on stage and ask all the Congress leaders, National Conference leaders, left leaders, Trinamool leaders, all of them to quit for the paper leaks that have happened under their watch. Can he do that? I don't think he can, but it's time to corner them with facts.
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
On the show tonight, ladies and gentlemen, my appeal to the real students of the country: do not be misled. At 9 o'clock tonight, I ask, why are random foreigners and Americans landing up in large numbers at the CJP site? Is the role of the deep state becoming clearer now? It's not a crime to be misled, but it is foolish to knowingly continue to be misled. Therefore, please hear this. One thing has become clear now, that over 90 to 95% of those at Jantar Mantar are not students. Nobody believes that the very violent, very brutally violent mobs armed with beer bottles and long sticks who are attacking women and policemen and RAF personnel, that these are students. These are not students. These are not the family members of students. And yet the CJP leadership refuses to accept that they are not students. They are lumpens, hoodlums, and lynchers who have taken over the protest site and have destroyed the intention behind the protest. Hear this.
टीयर गैस ने मार ली भाई हमारी। मेरा पूरा मुंह जल रहा है, इधर ये सारी चीजें जल रही है यार। दिल्ली पुलिस, बीजेपी, इंडियन आर्मी।
These are not neat aspirants. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of foreigners also have flown in suddenly, and we've got all these videos of Americans who have traveled all the way from America to be at Jantar Mantar. Americans who have traveled all the way from America to come to Jantar Mantar to abuse India, to abuse the elected government, abuse the Prime Minister of India at Jantar Mantar. Ladies and gentlemen, hear this.
What do we say?
Viewers, Americans coming from America to Jantar Mantar to say change the government in India. Are they not making it too obvious? And who is funding these foreigners? Why are these foreigners provoking violence and inciting mobs at Jantar Mantar? I have already mentioned how the American intelligence knew about the exact nature of the protest. Inside information written down in an American embassy advisory. And now there are suddenly so many Americans at Jantar Mantar guiding the protesters. What exactly is going on? People who have gone there and posted videos are saying that Jantar Mantar has been totally taken over by dangerous goons.
ਸੋ ਇਸ ਟਾਈਮ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਖੜੇ ਆ ਜੀ ਜੰਤਰ ਮੰਤਰ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆ ਦੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਤੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਨਾ ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਬੁਰੀ ਲੱਗੀ ਬਈ, ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟਸ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੁੱਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਉਹ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟ ਦਾ ਮੁੱਦਾ ਇਕੱਲਾ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟ ਦਾ ਮੁੱਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਹਿ ਗਿਆ। ਇਸ ਟਾਈਮ ਤੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਆਪਣੀਆਂ ਰੋਟੀਆਂ ਸੇਕਣ ਆ ਗਏ ਆ ਬਾਹਰ ਆੜੇ, ਤੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟਸ ਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਮੈਨੂੰ 20% ਵੀ ਪੂਰੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿਖ ਰਹੇ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟਸ। ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੱਲੜਬਾਜ਼ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਦਿਖ ਰਹੇ ਆ।
So everyone's saying there are no students, there are hooligans there. Besides, more facts. Delivery agents are confirming that huge and anonymous orders of food are being made from the Middle East, and especially from Qatar. So someone sitting in Qatar, maybe a big operation in Qatar, and ordering mass amounts of food from Qatar to be sent to Jantar Mantar. And the nation wants to know, without insinuation, did Rahul Gandhi recently visit Qatar? Was he? found visiting Qatar recently. Was he in Qatar? Where was this picture taken? It's worth asking. Meanwhile, one point which needs to be emphasized is that 11.5 lakh students have actually passed the NEET and are on their way to being doctors. To demand a clean and reformed system is an absolute right. But Abhijit Dipke, Deep State Dipke, who is leading the violence, must now answer whether he will ask the coaching center billionaires who are backing him, who make thousands of crores of rupees in fees from students, to waive their fees for all NEET students for 1 year. Will he do that? He won't. Because he, like the coaching center owners, are actually fleecing students. Now we have this person from Physics Wala. He's landed up at the site and is making big speeches. My request to the Physics Wala owner, who recently got listed, will the super rich Physics Wala owner waive 50 to 80% of his coaching fees for students in order to help students? Will he do that? As they say, put your money where your mouth is. Will he? I don't think he will. For example, if you continue to talk about the coaching mafias, did Byju's ever do anything for students after making, at one point of time, $22 billion in valuation and running away to Dubai? Now these people say they support students. Wrong. They profit off students. And one word to the students today. Students, be very careful. You're not into politics, but by now each one of you know that dangerous goons, all kinds of antisocial elements, rioters have taken over Jantar Mantar. There has been a lot of vandalism. And you know that there is enormous money put in this. You see, 65,000 rupees is being paid per video. 65,000 rupees in collaboration fees for making a video and posting it. At this level, given the number of videos and the kind of investment that goes into this, they are burning approximately at a minimum between 200 to 300 crore rupees to stretch this violence till the end of the parliament session. If these are indeed students, do NEET aspirants collectively, can a few of them get together and put 300 crore rupees as an investment? If these are students, who is funding them? Who finances their five-star hotels, their huge corporate organizations which do their social media handling, all the money that is being shared and spent? Dear students, real students, you have a right to demand a fair system. But I would like to add, you also have a duty. You have a duty, because things are going from bad to worse, to ask at least 3 basic questions. Question number 1, what percentage of the Jantar Mantar mob are professional rioters? And how many are real students? Question number 2, is the CJP leadership using the rioters, or are the rioters using the CJP leadership? Question number 3, why are there so many foreigners there suddenly? Why are so many foreigners there coming down there and asking for the elected government of India to be brought down? Why are Americans being brought in and being told to bring down the Modi government? Why is foreign money being brought in? Why is food being sent through large orders from places like Qatar? And how is there an organized social media campaign with millions of dollars pumped in, drawing followers from Palestine and America, as has been factually proven? But most importantly, dear students, and this is particularly to students, please analyze, research, and find out the truth about the NEET paper leak. And I'm about to share something with you which Abhijit Dipke won't. The 2 criminals behind the NEET paper leak this time are 2 people. One, P.V. Kulkarni, a chemistry lecturer. Second, Manisha Wagmare, a coaching class teacher. They have nothing, I repeat, they have nothing, I repeat 3 times, nothing to do with the government, nothing. This is the fact. The government and the CBI has arrested them on the 12th and 14th of May. Abhijit Dipke knows this, he will not share this. And that's why you will get misled. And after arresting them, the government has done a retest in which 11.21 lakh students have passed and are on their way to be doctors. Now, does Deep State Dipke have the guts to ask the Congress, once at least, about the thousands of students who committed suicide when the Congress was in power? No. Does Deep State Dipke have a right or the guts to ask, why Priyanka Vadra admitted on a stage that the Congress had woefully failed to stop paper leaks? No. And why will he not ask this question? Because deep state DIPK is the B team and the C team and the D team of the Congress party. So students, in conclusion, demand a correction in the system. You have a right to, but also speak up against this violence. Speak up against this violence. The CJP mob is abusing the army. Americans are there in Jantar Mantar demanding a change in the government in India. Who gave them the entry? And ask yourself and your family members tonight, which leader from India, which politician from India sat down in America and demanded Western intervention every time he was in America? Which leader did that? Connect the dots, stop the violence. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll now debate. I'm opening the debate tonight with Harish Salve joining me this evening. Coming tonight is a very concerned citizen. He's, of course, I think he's by far India's finest, most respected legal voice. Mr. Salve, you're seeing this go on. There's a lot of violence in the name of students. And even people who are at the site are saying that 95% of those there are not students any longer. What should be done? Is there a way out of this? Mr. Salve, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Yeah. Mr. Salve, I was just saying there are a lot of foreigners who've landed up at the site. There's a lot of violence last 3 days, unrelenting violence, right? And there is a level to which DIPK can deny a role in the violence himself. I asked, are the rioters using DIPK or is DIPK using the mob? What do you think is going on?
Arnab, I have very little doubt that I've seen from last 50 years, I've been a student myself. I've seen student anger, student violence. Students are angry from time to time, and that is a good sign in a democracy. Students should be angry every now and then. Keeps the government on its toes. What you're seeing has nothing to do with students, quite frankly, appears to be my understanding. There are some people who are there for the party, like you see this young foreigner who's smiling away, who thinks it's amusing, what's going on. And it always happens. See, India has a big problem. India today is becoming a big center of innovation, going ahead in various areas, and that's bothering people. Students today should realize education is not an end in itself. They need jobs. And the jobs are not going to come by creating political instability of the kind which certain political parties would be delighted to see. Pulling down a minister or pulling down the government is not going to solve the students' problem. We have to segregate three separate matters. One is whether or not the Delhi police committed any excesses. We've had these allegations when the lawyers went on strike. We had these allegations when Anna Hazare was on strike. We had these allegations when Baba Ramdev held the strike. And all those occasions there was somebody else who was in power, and exactly the same allegations were made against the police. Inquiries are ordered. If the police have been high-handed, they will be taken to task and taken to task firmly. That's one dimension of the matter. That's a single incident of alleged police high-handedness. The second is what should be done for the students. And yes, a lot can be done for the students. The time has come. We have a problem in India which no politician will talk about. So let me talk about it. The Supreme Court mandated all India entrance tests, wanting every Indian child, every Indian aspirant to have equal opportunity. Unfortunately, the standards of our universities in different parts of India differ. Students from certain areas therefore felt they had an edge. Colleges were not good enough. There step in your coaching centers. And today they have, the figures you were giving there, they have become a massive industry. And then they compete with each other. So then that's where the cutting of corners and all these malpractices step in. The government has, I must confess, the government has not been on the ball in regulating this. Also, let me remind you, Arnab, I don't know whether, I think you were in NDTV that time, when a particular leader of UP came to power saying, make me chief minister, in 24 hours I will repeal the anti-cheating law. There was a law brought in UP because there was a lot of violence by those who would cheat in exams. To repeal that law became the electoral pitch. So this has happened all the time and it's happening in all the states. What we need to do now is create a centralized body which will conduct exams. Like you have your UPSC, you need a body now which will conduct exams. It has to be independent of not just the union government, it should be independent of all the governments. That body will have the task of conducting exams, overseeing the venues where the exams are held, including the invigilation process, to make sure that the students are equally treated, oversee the paper setting process to make sure that there are no leaks, and finally, to oversee that the exam results are fairly valued and declared.
Right.
That's one part. The second part is there must be stringent penalty for what are called exam-related offenses. Any such offenses should have a minimum term of 5 years, going up to 10 years, for anybody found playing with the future of students.
Now,
thirdly, there must be a regulation process for all these educational, these teaching shops.
Yeah, there is none. But there is a bigger problem, I believe, that we are facing tonight. It is with people like Yogendra Yadav, who are openly saying, and he's playing a significant role behind this, I believe, right? Yogendra Yadav, a failed cephalogist, who says that India will no longer be run through elections. He says the electoral process does not work. We need, quote unquote, resistance. Then he has said that Parliament cannot be allowed to make the rules of how this country runs. This country will be run on the streets. Now, this is a very dangerous man, I believe, just because he says things in a very sort of avuncular tone. But you look at the words, look at the impact, and look at his political role. His role had been under question during the Delhi riots also. I wonder whether it's the government which has given a very long leash to people, who have said that India should not run through elections, India should run through resistance. That is a call against democracy. Is the government also guilty of being too tolerant, having a live and let live, jio or jeene do kind of approach for far too long, with people who have taken a position against Indian democracy?
I think I would agree with you, Arnab. At some point, we must realize democracy, liberal thought are all desirable virtues, but they cannot be divorced from your geopolitical context. Today, India is seen as a threat by large countries who occupy center stage and are loath at the idea of India sharing center stage, and I have seen that here. They would do anything to see India fall apart. The likes of Yogendra Yadav, who have realized that they can never go out and win elections, have to look at a plan B. So he is talking of his plan B. And his plan B is, if I can't rule through the medium of elections, then let me rule through the medium of streets.
Yes.
So that's an alternative thought. If all the intellectuals, I saw on your TV, some intellectuals have come out and supported this. Let's be very clear. What is going on in Jantar Mantar is no longer about students. It's a challenge to the Constitution of India.
But if someone's saying here today, the future of democracy in India will no longer be decided in Parliament, it will be decided on the streets. The future of India will not be decided by elections, it will be decided by resistance. That is openly advocating anarchy. Why has the Narendra Modi government sat down and do nothing anymore towards these people who say they are believers in the Constitution? They are not.
See, this is what happens. When it happens in China, you have the Tiananmen Square, and all your left-wing liberals who are today criticizing India hail China. So I think the Narendra Modi government needs to also take stern action, outreach to students completely. There is a genuine students' grievance against the way exams are held generally. Maybe this has brought issues to a boil. And there has to be concrete change brought in to ensure that this never repeats itself. Structural changes are required, organizational changes are required, and the MPs should put their heads together to do this.
But the MPs don't, I mean, the opposition seems to be completely backing Yogendra Yadav right now.
Yeah, the opposition wants, because having lost repeated elections, if the opposition feels that's their way out, well, then I would call it a public order problem.
Yeah, then
this is not a protest, this is now a public order problem. And the government has arms long enough and shoulders broad enough and muscles also strong enough to deal with public order problems.
It must use them. It doesn't seem to want to use them.
Yes,
that's very disturbing.
It's the last resort. It is the last resort. Because public sympathy will be with you when they realize that these people have crossed a line.
Yeah.
And I'm happy you are making public the demand that India must now, Parliament should be wound up and India should be done from Jantar Mantar.
Yeah, what's up? Yeah. Well,
if Indians want it that way, do it that way, but India doesn't live in the hearts of these handfuls.
Yeah.
India lives in its villages, India lives in its towns, and I don't think any right-thinking Indian will ever subscribe to this sort of a nonsensical idea.
Yeah. Well, I thank you so much, Harish Salve, for joining us today. I am most grateful. We'll remain in touch, sir, in this difficult period the country is facing, but I'm absolutely confident we'll come through this and the country will remain together and united. People want to break our country.
Like these people we want, we've come through worse.
We've come through worse, and what's happening is terrible, but we'll get through this. Thank you, Mr. Salve. Thank you very much indeed. We have with us today Siddharth Yadav of the CJP. We have with us Shantanu Gupta, very concerned today. All nationalists are very concerned. People want to break the country. And Rashmi Samant, the former student union president at Oxford University, she's joining us today. We have Anmol Pawar of the Aam Aadmi Party, Ratnakar Tripathi of the Congress Party, and Harish Ibrahim is joining us today. And let me assure all of you that the visuals have shown you. We can take the breaking news. There were these pictures. A lot of Americans have landed up there. And I'd like to play a little bit of the audio because, with beeps if possible, of the kind of things that are going on. And this American says that I have come here and the students are being killed, he says. Audio up. He's lying, clearly lying. He's a liar. He says, I'm from California. I'm very angry because students are being killed. He's a liar. There's another one who is going and abusing Modi and he's inciting the crowds. He's inciting the crowds out there. See the audio up? So these are Americans who've suddenly landed up, a lot of them quite visible, Rashmi, you can see that. And they are saying, bring down the government in Delhi. Bring down the government in Delhi. I want to tell everyone tonight who is a traitor to this country. Anyone who does not speak against this is a traitor to this country. This cannot be allowed. Shantanu, this makes me so angry.
And Arnab,
and they're getting a free run there in the name of a students' protest.
And Arnab, what Advocate Harish Salve said, I picked one very important thing.
Yes.
No one likes a strong India.
No one likes
be it America, be it China, be it anyone else. But the problem is, even Rahul Gandhi doesn't like a strong India. Even Akhilesh Yadav and Arvind Kejriwal, they don't like a strong India. So before every parliament session, they will discover a topic. They will find Hindenburg, they will find SIR, they will find Pegasus, they will find Pegasus. Just shut up, just shut up. They will find Pegasus and they will keep hunting for the topic. They will find hunting for the topic. And when the topic is solved, they will say, no. Kejriwal said it's my topic.
ask for accountability of the government.
Don't shout unnecessarily. Don't shout unnecessarily.
2.5 लाख बच्चों की मांग रखोगे?
सॉल्व हो गया टॉपिक, रीनीट हो गया, रीनीट हो गया, काउंसलिंग हो गई, पीपल आर इन देयर कॉलेजेस।
एक महीने में 2 बार पेपर हो गया खत्म।
पेपर हो गया, पीपल आर इन देयर कॉलेजेस, पीपल इन देयर कॉलेजेस।
उपलब्धि है कि एक पेपर लीक कराया और दोबारा कराया एक महीने में।
Check in Punjab, pharmacy test is legal in Punjab.
Shantanu, look here, I want to go to the others. Thank you. Thank you. Now, change the windows. Change the windows. Anmol, not on the window now. Not on the window now, I said.
He's a liar. This guy, this BJP stooge is a liar.
Anmol, don't shout. Thank you. Shantanu, thank you, please, both of you. I've got others also. We must all be concerned. Because when I see so many Americans there, and I showed the visuals also, and I'm getting in Siddharth at this time on this concerning matter, Siddharth Yadav of the BJP, Ratnakar of Congress, whichever party you may be from, I am furious like hell that this man says, I've come from America, change the government in India. Another American says, change the Prime Minister in India, I've come from America. And he's inciting these people. And the people around him are not NEET students. And I did show the material that the CIA had advanced knowledge of what was going on. At that time, people questioned me. But don't look the other way today. Viewers, if you're watching me tonight, do not look the other way today. Ask yourself, what is going on? Americans are coming. Americans are funding. And by the way, we remember Prime Minister Modi says, I will not compromise on the trade deal with America. Until now, he's not signed it, which is making America very angry. And now we have this sort of American-inspired thing going on in Jantar Mantar. Siddharth and Ratnakar, I think we must take a common pro-nation position on this. I hope you agree with me. Thank you. Who'd like to speak first? Okay, Siddharth, briefly, and then Ratnakarji, please. Thank you.
Absolutely, Arnab. I think nobody can, especially in the panel today, I think would take any other position that one that you are stating. It is something which is, I think, should be common for all Indians. But Arnab, let me also allow me just 30 seconds to express my feelings regarding this. I have been a student activist myself. For 10 years, I've been an activist in Delhi University, participated in various protests, led various student movements, been a part of the FI-UP protests, which were most brutal against the UPA government, the kind of force that was used. What is happening is at Jantar Mantar, the kind of sloganeering that is happening, Sansad ukhad ke fek denge, Modi ki kabr khudegi, Premanand Maharaj pakhandi hai, these have nothing to do with education. This cannot be coming in from students. We have full solidarity for students. The government is ready to engage in any kind of discussion with students, but with students, that is more important. Not we are the youth of this country, Arnab, is very responsible. The kind of people who have hijacked this movement, the kind of people who have entered this protest, and the kind of political parties who are trying to milk out their political gains from this, I think this is most unfortunate. With students, 99% of the students participating there want a discussion in the parliament on educational reforms. The government is ready for a discussion. The government is saying you want to have a 16-hour discussion, a 20-hour discussion, go for it. Why is it the opposition bringing in hurdles and not letting that discussion happen? What is the real reason behind all of this has to be understood. Nobody is concerned about students and their welfare. And I have a proof for that. On the last occasion, when the first bill which penalized paper leaks and gave a jail term for more than 10 years was introduced in the parliament by our government, by no other government in 70 years. Did Rahul Gandhi had anything to say for educational reforms? No. Did Venugopal say a word? Did Mallikarjun Kharge said a word? They did not even participate in that debate. When the parliament, the temple of democracy, debates about educational reforms, about paper sanctities, examination sanctity, you don't have anything to say, you don't participate, and suddenly you see an opportunity and you, like vultures, you go and grab it. We are a country of Mahatma Gandhi, Arnab. Mahatma Gandhi had called off the national non-cooperation movement after Chauri Chaura incident when violence happened. And what's happening on the streets of Delhi, can anybody endorse that? Yep. More than 117 policemen injured and in hospitals, and we have people on the streets running and saying Sansad ko kaat denge. Can anybody endorse that? And I don't see.
I'm getting a lot of support.
You equally should have come from all factions.
This is bad. And you know, Two things, please. I just want to say I'm getting a lot of support today to my request to the very rich owner of Physics Wala that he should have a 80% discount on his coaching fees for NEET and all students for 1 year if he wants to help students. Because it's his responsibility. He's very rich. I'm sure he can afford that. He's made a lot of money of his capitalization and he can spend that kind of money. I think also there must be a regulation on the coaching centers in this country. Because what they are doing, Rashmi, is also remarkable, right? They are the ones who fleece the students the most. And I take the example of Byju's. He took a 22 billion valuation, built luxury homes in Dubai, ran away and then is under investigation now. Should they also not be held responsible? Also besides, the involvement of Americans, American lobbies, American funding, a lot of orders coming in from Qatar, I'm told, food delivery from Qatar. Rashmi, what's up? What's going on in Jantar Mantar? This is not a students' protest by far now.
Absolutely. See, I am a victim of paper leaks myself. 2016 12th grade exam, Karnataka State Board. Siddaramaiah was Chief Minister. It was Congress government in Karnataka. What happened essentially, how the mechanics of this works is that these coaching centers which make money by fleecing the students, they bribe the various clerks and, people within the cogs in the machinery of making a paper and distributing it for the sake of an exam. And these papers are then used to, sort of train the coaching center students to get better marks so that they can, continue with the scam of exceptional results and then fleece the students further. This is the mechanics behind paper leaks. If the leaders of the CJP who are demanding reforms of the NEET, they were really serious about the welfare of students attempting NEET, they would directly attack the very nexus which is responsible for these
the coaching
paper leaks.
center mafia.
But nobody is saying a single word. Arnab, I remember back in 12th grade how the chemistry papers were leaked. That time, Telegram and all of that was not such a big thing. Luckily, this paper leaked over a WhatsApp group and people found out. Otherwise, we would never find out because there were hard copies of these papers and 2 hours before the exams, the coaching centers would call the students early and then coach them. So there was no way for people to know. So maybe I have gone through many unjust exams because people really couldn't blow the whistle on the paper leaks. Today, at least it's being acknowledged and there are retests. Imagine the unfair situation that we went through.
No, I would say this, that I appreciate the honesty with which Priyanka Vadra has admitted that the Congress party has been an absolute failure. Can the video be run on the right and I'll tell them to raise the audio at the right time? You see, Priyanka Vadra said that this is a nationwide problem. She said we are failures. We cannot... The speech, please. And she says, we cannot solve the problem. We have tried for years, the Congress party governments, and we are total failures at it. And then she said, Ratnakar Tripathi, I request you not to politicize it. So many people have complained to Ashok Gehlot. In fact, the loudest complaint against the paper leaks under the Congress government were from Sachin Pilot.
Exactly. And
there's no looking away from this.
No resignation.
There's no, they have played that video on the side. There's no looking away from it. Ratnakar Tripathi cannot avoid this question, right? And the Congress party said, please, we are failures. We have not we failed to do anything about it. Did anyone resign?
No.
Hear this, please. Listen to this.
Not even a demand.
Listen to this, Ratnakar ji. Listen to this.
पेपर लीक की बड़ी समस्या है. गहलोत जी भी जानते हैं कि राजस्थान में भी पेपर लीक हुए थे और ये एक बड़ी समस्या पूरे देश में है, सिर्फ एक प्रदेश की समस्या नहीं है और बहुत इसको रुकवाने की कोशिश चाहे कितना भी की होगी गहलोत जी ने, लेकिन फिर भी बार-बार ये हो रहा था.
Now my question is, बार-बार हो रहा था.
Almost 17 papers got leaked in Rajasthan when Ashok Gehlot was the chief minister. No resignation, no process change, no arrests.
I can assure you, Siddharth, Ratnakar will not answer this question. He will try to avoid it.
Answer every question. I had a good laugh. Killers of Mahatma Gandhi are trying to take shelter
Total random. Whatever it is best.
Shantanu Gupta, your name is not Ratnakar Tripathi. And if anybody intervenes in between, I'm not going to speak. You can laugh at Goswami.
I'm not laughing.
Right?
I'm a happy person from inside.
Yes, because they are the
I'm
killers
happy.
of Mahatma Gandhi.
I'm a happy person.
Mahatma Gandhi ने चोरी चोरा में क्या किया था? I had a good laugh. And Mr. Goswami, Mr. Gupta, Mr. Siddharth Yadav, despite your attempts to disgrace, demean and defame the movement, the real student movement, the real nationalists know where their real interest lies.
No. What happened? Why did you fail? First of all, just want to know how did you fail, and when you failed, which minister quit?
Did you intervene, Siddharth Yadav?
No. But my question,
You have developed a
Ratnakar ji, my habit is always.
Then you speak, sir.
No, my question to you is. By the way, there's a sequence of Chidambaram. We are trying to ask him also.
No, don't place questions. You didn't place.
We
any
can't place questions.
Gupta and Yadav.
No, I'm asking you, did you fail? Did you fail? Okay. Do you admit that the Congress failed? That Priyanka said I failed. Is that a right or wrong thing?
Again, you are intervening. Why do you fear me so much, sir? Why do you fear me?
I'm asking you, did the Congress admit that it had failed?
ना पूछिए व्यापम घोटाले का प्रदीप जोशी अभी भी एनटीए का चेयरमैन है और हरीश साल्वे जी के प्रति पूर्ण सम्मान के साथ he was talking about a national body. I think he is not aware there is already a national body named National Testing Agency NTA, whose chairman is Pradeep Joshi. आप कह रहे थे भाग मारे.
Okay, I'll ask you a question. Listen, Ratnakar ji, I want to ask you. Since you didn't you avoided question number one. I want to play a sequence when our reporter spoke to Chidambaram trying to ask him a question. Can I play the sequence?
Let me tell you.
Listen to this. Listen to this sequence.
They must demand the resignation of Narendra
Ask a question, sir. Sir, it is my job.
No report.
Sir, but it is my job to ask a question, sir.
You can ask a question. Ask somebody else.
Okay, now
Sir,
that's enough.
but can you
No, okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's Chidambaram avoiding a question on this matter. Harish, Mohammad Ibrahim and Ratnakar ji, I wish to ask you, do any of you know the names of the mastermind of the NEET scam who actually carried it out on the ground?
Pradeep Joshi and Dharmendra Pradhan.
No. This is the problem. Who is here you are, Ratnakar ji. Did Ashok Gehlot carry out the paper leak in Rajasthan? No. No.
And Pradeep Joshi appointed the paper setters.
No, 1 minute.
And the paper setters leaked the paper.
1 minute. Mr. Tripathi, don't be worried. You know that there is P.V. Kulkarni, who is a chemistry lecturer involved in the examination process, and there is Manisha Wagmare, who runs a coaching center. These are the two people who have been arrested on 12th and 14th of May 2026. You know it, but you want to deny.
Who appointed the paper setters?
Who arrested them?
Who appointed the paper setters?
But you didn't take any action. Who appointed the chemistry professor?
Dharmendra Pradhan.
Who? You are getting confused. Now you decide. Next question. Don't get worried. Harish, you tell me. There is a Delhi-based, Mumbai-based and Bangalore-based paid influencer marketing agencies who have coordinated the payment of crores of rupees for promotional content around the CJP protest and Sonam Wangchuk, according to sources. Now, I want to ask you, where is the money coming from? If you're paying 65,000 per influencer post, 10,000 into that, that is 65 crores. Now sustain this over a 20-25 day period, that's a minimum investment in terms of OPEX of about 200 to 300 crore rupees. We really want to know whether that money, where can that money come from, you think?
Arnab, have you raised the same kind of query when Mr. Anna Hazare lied down for the Lokpal bill on the protest, which brought the BJP into the government?
No, that was a pre-Twitter era. 1 minute. There was no influencer marketing agency involved in that. I'm asking you a question. Where do you think the money is coming from this time?
No. Wherever it comes from. Whether you have raised the legit query to then BJP government, which brought Mr. Anna Hazare to protest on a Lokpal bill. Still now they haven't even introduced that. Keeping aside that, this is the students' movement. We have to give the due respect for that. Whether the substance is the core substance of what they're protesting is for, Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan should resign. Whether he has taken an accountability, no. And after 30 days, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Modi is setting up a fast-track court. For what? You have a clear-cut instance on your face stating that Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan, please step down and let the fair judicial process take its own course. And if whoever been culpable behind these kind of need, and that is the reason the Tamil Nadu and Mr. M.K. Stalin, entire DMK government doesn't want the need to be there across India, because it is going to milk only for benefit only the people who are running the coaching centers.
Okay, Siddharth, can you answer that? Siddharth, have you taken an obdurate producer position on Pradhan? One minute.
It doesn't gotta bring any kind of good to the students of this country. So make sure to ban NEET across India and let the people flourish on their own academic system, for which they have become the doctors earlier.
Siddharth, if the violence is happening, why is the government allowing the violence? Apparently, you have a strong internal security apparatus. Every night we are seeing visuals. After 7 o'clock, I don't know what kind of consumption there is, but I've seen a lot of alcohol bottles being thrown. So obviously someone's consuming alcohol there. I'm asking you, Siddharth, why are you giving them a long rope? Why have these people taken over the outer ring of Connaught Place? Why have they vandalized shops? Why are commercial establishments shut down? Why are swords being pulled out? Why are police people in hundreds being attacked? Why is there open bloodshed out there? Why are you watching and doing nothing about it? Are you on the back foot, Siddharth? And why are you just sitting and watching this and letting this happen?
Arnab, I share your concern. And I think I feel the same way, like most Indians who are concerned with what's happening on the name of a protest.
It's a mobocracy in a Modi government. Why are you allowing a mobocracy to run riot?
Absolutely, absolutely. Nobody in any place where rule of law is there, nobody can be allowed to pursue any such act. Nobody shall be allowed to pursue any act. If any leniency has been given whatsoever, it has only been given, Arnab, because we have students, innocent students, who are being politicized, who are being captured.
Let me give you one example. One minute. Just a moment. I want to read this out to all of you, and I'm sure it will make your blood boil. And leniency to students, okay, but this is not a student. He's taken out his zip, he's flashing his private parts at people. He's a pervert. He's a pervert. He's not a student. Why you be showing leniency to these kind of sexual perverts? Why?
No leniency.
No, but why?
No leniency.
Has this fellow been arrested?
No leniency will be
These are the kind of people who are roaming around in Jantar Mantar? No, why are you giving him a long rope?
Absolutely, FIRs will be registered.
People who voted BJP wanted a strong government. Where is the strong government not crushing this?
Would not be taken.
No, I want to see this question goes. It'll make your blood boil.
No,
Yogendra Yadav says, and he's not a student. He says, he says, the future of democracy in this country will no longer be decided by the Parliament of India. Everybody should oppose this. Everybody should. He says the future of this democracy will be decided on the streets, never in the Parliament of India. It will no longer be decided by elections. It will be decided by resistance. He's openly calling for anarchy, and I really want to know, because he's the guru for Rahul Gandhi. Why are you allowing him? What penalty is there? What legal action is there on him? And now,
Arnab,
what is this?
I should also throw some light on the mindset behind people like Yogendra Yadav.
No, I don't want to. I know his mindset. What action have you taken?
For any such protest.
I know his mindset. He's saying that Parliament should be shut down.
I'm coming to the action.
What action have you taken? Was there not a question mark over his role in the Jahangirpuri riots and the build-up at that point of time? What action did you take against him?
Arnab, I think their character is out in the open.
No, I don't know. Character being, what action did you take against him?
We have seen a very...
What action did you take against him?
Recently, there was a convict from people from a political party, Aam Aadmi Party, to whom the elected members of parliament and Rajya Sabha members and top Aam Aadmi Party leaders were giving out and handing out character certificates, and they
but
were
he's
saying
advising Congress, not AAP. Is he advising you? No, Yogendra Yadav is advising AAP. Anmol, 1 minute. Anmol, is there a link between Yogendra Yadav and you?
Law being followed and people being convicted.
No, 1 second. I think Yogendra Yadav is associated with Congress, not AAP, though he's a bit of a political freelancer. But when he says here, Anmol and Ratnakar Tripathi, the future of democracy in this country should be decided in the streets, not in parliament. Right? We cannot find any justification for something as vile as this. It's a vile statement. People are watching, it's a live program. Without raising your voice, I want a considered response to this, please. Thank you.
And the future of this country will be decided by the youth.
Not in parliament. Not in parliament.
So there's no youth in parliament?
No.
We have a 56-year-old youth and a 76-year-old youth in parliament.
You agree with the statement?
No.
That the future of democracy in this country will no longer, listen to the words, will no longer be decided in parliament. It will be decided on the streets, which means he's saying break down parliament, finish parliament. You cannot agree with this. No, you must. Don't take a turnaround on this.
We are governed by the constitution of this country. We are governed by the rule of law, and we all must abide by it. Okay. Secondly,
very diplomatic. Ratnakar Tripathi, let me get him because he's more associated. Thank you. Ratnakar Tripathi, Yogendra Yadav, who is part of the Congress effectively. 1 minute. Yogendra Yadav says the future of democracy in this country will no longer be decided in the Parliament of India. It will be decided on the streets. In the way that you see this CJP worker pointing there and all that. Right? Ratnakar Tripathi, you agree with that?
I didn't even get...
I've already come. This was the second comment. Ratnakar?
No, this was my first comment for 10 seconds.
But I'll come back. Yeah, Ratnakar?
अभी आप जब सालवे जी से बात कर रहे थे ना,
नहीं, मेरा सवाल था, योगेंद्र यादव ने कहा है कि संसद में ही नहीं सड़कों पे, संसद में नहीं सड़कों पे, उस पे जवाब दीजिए। इंट्रोडक्शन देखिए, भागने की कोशिश ना करें। आप जवाब दीजिए।
मैं एकदम नहीं भागूंगा। मैं आपसे डर के तो जिंदगी में नहीं भागूंगा।
I don't want your introductory remarks. He has said that Parliament of India will not decide the democracy of India. You really need to answer this.
मैंने कहा कि बेटा, पुलिस इसीलिए होती है, पुलिस दया करने के लिए नहीं होती है। It was my daughter.
I don't know what my question is, what his answer is. Is he answering the question, Shantanu? Viewers are responding right now.
What he's speaking is also not coherent.
When the parliament, the government won't work, they will work as a Hitler, there will be something on the roads. That
the Congress party says now, in the same language. Viewers, now you decide. You decide. I have a Congress leader saying, Parliament, not Parliament roads. Not Sansad Sarak. Now, all of you today, I am going to say this, all the members of the Nationalist Collective, I am making an appeal to you. You have a political party which has said that it does not believe in Parliament, then it should not fight the election. It should deregister itself from the Election Commission of India.
Politics doesn't...
Harish Mohammed Ibrahim, you cannot remain a quiet spectator to this. When a political party says the Parliament of India will not decide, the streets will decide. You have lost an election in Tamil Nadu, but you are not saying that the Tamil Nadu Assembly will not decide. We will do anarchy on the streets of Tamil Nadu. Have you? I've not seen you do that.
You are misinterpreting whatever he said, because the functioning democracy, both ascended, descended, what the core crux of functioning democracy, and he meant that. So you can't twist the fact
that that's where I think if the BJP has gone soft, then I'm very concerned. If the BJP feels it'll have to deal with these situations and these people with kid gloves.
You are demeaning.
I am demeaning nothing, sir. You have not spoken a word about the foreigners. They're instigating and abusing my government.
You are demeaning.
Our government.
Mr. Prime Minister Modi,
the foreigners are there. They're going to tell you what to do. These Mir Chands, these Jai Chands, these Mir Jafars.
America and seek and vote for another president of America. Can't you deny that? Mr. Prime Minister Modi went to US to seek vote for being the president. And you are speaking whether Americans coming for a protest or not here, back to India.
Nobody will deny this. 1 minute.
We have
See,
done the
Harish,
historical breakdown.
historically, it is Rahul Gandhi who has gone to America and said the West must interfere in Indian democracy.
Exactly.
And now I have a lot of Americans and mob violence there. Am I not going to link the two, Siddharth? I am only connecting. I am only connecting truths to each other. You're not comfortable with my linking. 1 minute. Siddharth. Siddharth.
for 50 minutes.
I've given you to Siddharth.
PM Modi has to do with
Arnab, there is no denial about it. There is no denial about the real intentions of the likes of Rahul Gandhi, the likes of Congress Party and all such leaders. We have seen how can a leader of opposition who holds such an important position go to a Western state and say the West must intervene? Intervene in what? In the internal affairs of my country. Who will intervene? US will intervene, or Italians will intervene, or Rahul's Nani will intervene. Who will intervene? I think, the extension of this and the politicization of this shows us the exact point of what is happening. All those people, be it Yogendra Yadav, who wanted to enter the parliament, fought an election, lost an election, could not enter a parliament, and now is saying everything will be decided on the streets.
These are primary questions.
Arvind Kejriwal, who got into an assembly, became the chief minister, did blunders out on the streets again, and now saying that things will be decided on the streets. Who decides this? We are run by a constitution. We are a rule of law country. And all these people who can't win elections, who can't gather support of the people, who can't win, who can't enjoy the support of the people of this country, are taking to anarchy. Absolutely not acceptable.
Why is this happening? How can you allow this? I have just got some visuals of CJP protesters doing some disgusting things on the road. I have some really bad visuals, vulgar moves, things that they are doing. Now tell me, why are you allowing this?
You also saw that DCP Lamba groping a woman, molesting a woman, a student, a female student.
You've seen what is going on. You've seen the violence, and now we have seen some horrible things happening. I'm seeing some CJP workers mimic sexual acts. I didn't want to say it, but can I request you now to wake up and say, even if you're benefiting from this, when you hear a Yogendra Yadav say, see Anmol, you're a spokesman now. One day you will want to fight an election. You will want to be in an assembly and you will want to be in parliament. At that time, you will be on the other side. And then there will be people who say, we don't believe in elections at all. We believe in the rule of the street. You will yourself feel horrible about that. This is the opportunity to say this much and no
further. This is
the opportunity for you to say this much and no further. I will not stand with the CJP when it has come down to this.
See,
it won't cost you anything. Will it cost him anything?
This is an opportunity. This is an opportunity to identify the real traitors of our country. The real traitors of our country who see everything, who hear everything, who understand everything, but out of greed they support an arrogant and autocratic government who can't see the pain and struggle of the youth of this country, who can't see the pain and struggle of the families of 25 students who committed suicide, who can't see the Delhi police gundas doing
in last 10 years in medical exams.
This is the way. 52 minutes ruka. I waited for 53 minutes. I got only 20 seconds. And then everyone starts interrupting because they don't want to get exposed. So the real traitors are the one who can't see the students who committed suicide, who can't see that
how many students committed suicide between 2004 and 2014?
So
2004 and 2014, how many thousand? No, but I'm saying to you, did you ask for anyone's resignation? Then you were in politics. You were in politics. Why didn't you ask then? See, if you explain your timing, you can't keep saying people of country, people of country. The people of the country are asking you the questions. But then you're not asking the Congress any questions.
And that's why you partnered with them.
But the point is that
Shantanu and Anmol,
of the 2.5 lakh students
I think if there is, we must, viewers and students, I am now closing this. Put the plate out tonight. At 9 o'clock tonight, we question why there are random foreigners. Plate, please, Aditi. Plate, Aditi. Plate. Thank you, Anmol, you're disturbing. Why are there Americans at the CJP protest the visible presence of Americans. A few days after proof of American knowledge in advance comes out, raises questions about the geopolitics behind this.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates. IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
पापा।
सॉरी यार, गलती हो गई है। ये चोट खर्चा वर्चा।
अरे लास्ट बॉल पे छक्का भी तुम्हारा।
छक्का?
सब कैशलेस हो गया है। हाँ।
ला भाई मेरा बैट। वो अभी तो ठीक हुआ तू।
अभी तो डिस्चार्ज हुआ यार।
बैट किसका है?
टाटा AIG है तो भरोसा है।
I wake up wearing someone else again. Skin tight like porcelain. I don't recognize these eyes. Something scratching from inside. Don't let it slip. I'm losing control. I don't wanna be safe anymore.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
I wake up wearing someone else again. Skin tight like porcelain. I don't recognize these eyes. Something scratching from inside. Don't let it slip. I'm losing control. I don't wanna be safe anymore. Underneath there's a fire they can't keep. No more faces.
Finding myself. That's my moment of Sarah.
Random foreigners at CJP site. Why are foreigners at CJP protest? Deep state role becoming clearer. Debating tonight at 9 p.m.
Presented by Amity University, ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally. Powered by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, growing legacies since 1820. TVS iQube, India's favorite family EV.
Rahul Gandhi says he's supporting the violence by the CJP. And he says, I'm fighting for students. I don't want paper leaks. If there are paper leaks, then the government should come down. And the CJP should be allowed to do whatever the hell it wants